News, good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Make RAA-approved windscreen repairer, Complete Windscreens, your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
There are reports an Australian woman has been gang raped in Paris days out from the Olympics. Clinton Maynard is in France.
Several French media outlets are reporting a 25-year-old woman was attacked by as many as 5 men on Saturday. The woman was reportedly found distressed outside a kebab shop in the early hours. The reports say the woman told police she was raped by 5 men earlier, but she was unable to provide detail. Alliance Paris police have told French media they will do everything possible to identify those allegedly involved. The woman was supposed to leave the country on Sunday. In Paris, Clinton Maynard, 9 News.
The head of the US Secret Service has been questioned about the agency's actions during an attempted assassination at a Trump rally in Pennsylvania. The agency says it's under-resourced and is looking after 36 VIPs at once. Director Kim Cheetle is now under pressure to resign by US lawmakers.
Did he have a rangefinder? That would certainly raise my suspicion.
Yes, he did, but may I explain that at a number of our sites, especially when you're at outdoor venues, a rangefinder is not a prohibited item. It is sometimes an item that is brought in by individuals if you're going to be in the back.
Did anybody confront him on that?
Australian business owners crippled by a global tech outage on Friday are unlikely to receive any compensation. The incident cost hundreds of millions of dollars in lost earnings nationwide. A legal expert says businesses will face challenges recouping the funds due to CrowdStrike's terms and conditions. Rents across the country are up nearly 10% in the past year. There are some signs the housing crisis is easing for tenants. PropTrack says just over 1% of houses up for rent are vacant and about 2% of units are vacant. Adelaide experienced an increase in rental supplies, with the median rent for Adelaide in the June quarter rising to $570. Report author Cameron Cusher says more homes need to be built to relieve the market pressure, but that won't happen quick enough while interest rates remain high.
Interest rates are the highest they've been in 12 years, so that's making it very hard to make new development and new construction stack up. It's getting harder to get the level of pre-sales you need. It's getting harder to access finance, so it's probably unlikely to see a significant improvement in new housing construction until such time as we start seeing interest rates moving lower.
Exercise could help treat depression in people with osteoarthritis. Researchers from Victoria University and the University of Melbourne looked into the benefits of exercise in managing symptoms of depression in people dealing with osteoarthritis. Up to 20% of people dealing with this sort of pain report symptoms of depression. Professor Itmar Levinger says they found those with the highest pain experienced the greatest benefits.
Some people have a concern that if they will do any level of physical activity, the pain will be more severe and they actually will do more damage. And this is not accurate. People should do physical activity despite the pain.
Now to FIVEAA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
And now here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Adelaide's players will be back on the training track this morning as they prepare for Sunday's clash against Hawthorn. The Crows will be without Jordan Dawson because of concussion, while Jordan Butts will also miss with a foot injury. But there is a chance Nick Murray could play after his knee injury wasn't as serious as first feared. Carlton, meantime, has been dealt a blow ahead of Friday night's match against Port Adelaide, with ruckman Tom De Koning ruled out with a foot injury. And Hawthorn's Nick Watson has been named the Round 19 AFL Rising Star nominee after starring in his side's 66-point win against Collingwood. Well, Aussie basketballer Dante Exum has been cleared of serious injury. The 29-year-old suffered a dislocated finger in the Boomers' warm-up win over France. Chef de mission Anna Mears says Exum is recovering.
He suffered a compound dislocation of the right index finger in this game, and X-rays have confirmed that there was no fracture, and he is expected to continue on the path to compete at these games.
The Matildas go into the Paris Games ranked 12th in the world, the 10th best of the 12 competing nations at the Olympics. Coach Tony Gustafsson says they aren't the best team, but they can beat the best team. And Australia's best tennis player, Alex de Minaur, has confirmed he will play at the Olympics amid fitness concerns. De Minaur was forced to withdraw from Wimbledon ahead of the quarterfinals due to a hip injury. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the FIVEAA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Mostly sunny at 18 today. Tomorrow a late shower to 20. Thursday showers 15. Friday a shower to 16. Currently it's 10. More news as it happens on 5AA.
The latest issue of 50 Plus SA, featuring some of SA's colourful personalities, is out now, and it's jam-packed with the best of SA food, wine, art and travel. Pick it up for free in over 400 locations across SA. Read it now by jumping onto 50plussa.com.au or subscribe to the 50 Plus SA weekly newsletter and get the best of SA in your inbox. 50 Plus SA, proudly supported by 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide tech guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Unfold your story with Galaxy AI on the new Samsung Galaxy Z series. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6 have big battery power for creating and playing. They both feature a slim dynamic screen that flips up or folds out. It has a new hinge, screen, powerful camera and Galaxy AI to drive on-the-fly language translation or edit photos. Pre-order the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6 and Fold 6 before the 31st of July and receive a $400 Harvey Norman gift card and 1 year of Samsung Care Plus valued at $229 via redemption. Prices start from $1,799 for the Samsung Flip and $2,749 for the Fold at Harvey Norman. Terms and conditions apply.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you.
City Discount Tires.
Get saving now with City Discount Tires. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tires, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for four-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttires.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires.
What's got Mike singing? Mike just got an energy-efficient heat pump installed by EcoVantage. Not only is it using nearly 80% less energy than his old hot water system and saving hundreds off his power bills, he got it for free. Thanks to federal and SA government incentives, you can get your own energy-efficient heat pump from just $0. Pump your energy bills down with EcoVantage. Visit ecovantage.com.au.
At Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, we've launched out of the starting blocks and we're flying down the track with our huge demo clearance. All demos are going to race out the door, like Demo T-Rocks from only $35,990 drive away. We're first for easy on-site finance options and top of the podium for convenient next-day servicing with complimentary loan vehicles. Get in first for Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's huge demo clearance. Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city. Rego S22 3CYX.
In Adelaide and across South Australia.
This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6, good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday on 5AA Breakfast. Looking forward to this chat after 6:30 today. Chris Jarma is going to join us from France, where, of course, he's been the chef to our Olympic swim team in the build-up, in that period where they're in France training before they go into the Olympic Village. Chris has been charged with keeping them fed, well-nourished and ready to win medals. We'll talk to him about that experience just after 6:30 today. We're off to the US for the latest from North America. Then after 7 o'clock, Phil Curry in the nation's capital. We'll talk federal politics. And we return to the US after 8:30 today. Charles Kupchan was an advisor to Barack Obama, served in his administration and in the Clinton administration, so we'll talk about the latest developments from the US. We've got a jury trial around that, some terrific giveaways, and of course, looking forward to your calls and all the things going on around Adelaide, Australia and the world on 8223 0000. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. Chris Jarma, what a job. How much fun would that have been? He's been there for, what, because we interviewed him before he went, and that was about 5 or 6 weeks ago, I think. The swimmers have been in camp in the south of France, actually closer to Spain than Paris. They were right down, I think it was Perpignan, is the name of the town where he was working. And it's one of those places, you type the name of that town, and this is pretty much true of any major or even less populous city in France, you type the name of it into the Michelin Guide, which is the international guide to the best restaurants in the world. It's an interesting app, that, because it's not just a list, it's actually like an interactive map, the way you'd use Google Maps to, type, how do I find service stations in Adelaide? So you type service stations in Adelaide and the map goes ping, and there's 100 little dots on the map. Or you type Michelin-starred restaurants into Perpignan and you get about 20. So as a cook, Chris would have been absolutely in his element, particularly a cook with that terrific European tradition that he inherited through his father and carries on at Jarman's there.
I'm sure a lot of it would have been fun. I wonder how much it would have been hard work. It's a big team, so 44 athletes in the swim team. Then you've got all the coaches, and all the people that support them and are staying with them. It'll be a big job,
and it would be different from restaurant cooking because it's sort of like, these people are well-oiled machines, and a big part of what they do. But Chris has got the experience because he does all the cooking for the Crows.
Yes.
So on a Saturday
That's how
night,
he got the gig.
Yeah, after Crows game, he's making pulled pork sliders for Josh Rochelle and the gang. So he's good at quick turnaround cooking, designed for athletes at the different times of their sort of exercise cycle. So pre-match food, strength building. He knows about all the sort of protein-based stuff that they have and what to avoid, fats and so on. And then, after a game, they can sort of cut loose and have a bit of a blowout. So it's a different way of cooking from what you and I would do when we rock up and say, I'll have the palmy covered in shredded beef brisket, thanks.
Oh, the palmy with brisket, I had that. That was amazing.
I've never had that. It looks intense.
I reckon it's a bit of a myth. And Tom Duday talked to us a little bit about this on the air. Given how far footballers run these days, they're basically, as much as they are, team sport athletes, they're distance running athletes.
Yeah.
And based on how much energy their bodies use, the whole my body's a temple thing. So, some guys adhere to that, but it's not strict. And we saw it after the Friday night game in the rooms. And this blows me. I've seen this before, but just to see it again, everyone drinking strawberry milk, chocolate milk. Like, after a game, elite athlete.
Yeah.
But it's sugar and it's milk protein, and they've just burnt 4,000 calories, probably.
I reckon wind it back to the 1970s. There's some of the biggest name players in the history of the SANFL had a pie and a couple of Winnie Blues at halftime.
But this is where
there's photos of players smoking on the ground from the 70s.
I've got a feeling that it's like the graph looks like a wave in terms of healthy eating habits pre and post game in football. I reckon it starts in your era really low, and then I reckon that sort of period during the 90s where everyone was about building muscle and people weren't as lean, but the game was getting more professional. I think you started seeing guys, I don't drink during season, and we do, we've got these controlled diets and so forth. And I reckon now it hasn't gone all the way back to the 70s, but it's come down a bit based purely on the amount of energy that gets exerted.
What has disappeared from football? Does Fraser Gehrig get a game in 2024?
Probably not.
What about Plugger? Those sort of lumbering, heavily built, well, indeed, kind of fat guys.
It would be really hard because the expectation is you're not parked in the Ford 50 for the entirety of the game.
Yeah, you're up and down.
You've got to cover probably 14, 15 Ks, coming up, pressing up, helping out in defence, and then running back the other way. Yeah, that guy probably is in the under-18s. People go, he's kicking goals, but I don't know if this is going to work in the AFL anymore. I suspect.
I reckon in a way it's the body type that you see. Darcy, it's Darcy Fogarty without any supervision or self-control.
Well, look,
because maybe a generation ago, Darcy was on the flavoured milks pre-match and on the pies at half time.
I think that's right. I think that's exactly right.
But he's a guy who's in terrific shape. Looks like a modern footballer.
But maybe those guys just simply they do make it on talent, but they don't look like they did.
Have you got a go-to food when you got big exercise coming up?
No, I know people do the whole carb load thing.
Because you exercise a lot, don't you? You go running.
No, I haven't. I've cut out running a little bit.
Have you?
Yeah, I've cut out running a little bit. Started feeling a bit selfish going away for running off for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Because of Rosie?
Yeah, when you have a baby going, all right,
Yeah.
You guys do you, and I'm going to have a bit of me time.
I'm with you on that. You know, the one thing I can't understand is, and I've got mates who do it, but as a bloke, how do you get away with playing regular golf or indeed playing social cricket? Where you take, you know, if you need me this weekend, I'll be at Park 10 for the next 2 days. Like it's you know, golf in particular,
It's
you know,
a
5
huge
hours and then if you
commitment.
have a couple of quiet ones afterwards, it's, maybe they've got us on a tight leash, Will.
Yeah, could well be. No texts on this subject, thank you.
No.
But you can text in on anything else, 0480 1395. News headlines are coming up next.
Drums, please. Unprecedented, unparalleled, unrivaled. For the very first time, Edwardstown Mazda is offering discounts greater than 10% on all Mazda demonstrator models. Every demo, every model with a minimum discount of 10%. Plus a minimum trade-in of $2,000 on your old vehicle. This offer is exclusive to Edwardstown Mazda.
It's gotta be
Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA.
The Posture Care Chair Company has moved to a new home at 107 Sturt Street between King William Street and Whitmore Square. Discover our tailor-made chairs crafted right here in Adelaide with our patented zero-gravity design. And say goodbye to all comfort complaints. Celebrate our grand opening with us and save up to $1,000 on your brand new tailor-made recliner chair, plus complimentary express build, plus free delivery. Come on in and visit our new place, the Posture Care Chair Company. T's and C's apply.
Stay warm this winter with Mac Trade Services. Take advantage of huge SA government rebates on reverse cycle air conditioners. If you are a concession card holder, you can get a reverse cycle Actron air conditioner from only $599, supplied and installed. That's nearly a 70% discount off the normal price. Get in quick while stocks last. Visit the Mac Trade Services office in Rose Park or call 1300 430 917.
Treat your family and friends to something a little fancy from FIVEAA, your family liquor stores. If you relish your winter reds and you like them full-bodied, we have SA-made Shiraz, Cabernet Sauvignon and Malbec for you. A great way to warm up is with a dram of whiskey, and we have many great Australian distilleries with their own distinct flavours. Beer tastes change too, but you're covered with local craft stouts and porters. FIVEAA, your local independent SA family liquor store for over 45 years.
Careful, kids.
Sorry, Mum.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. We've dented your car. Don't worry. Dent Revolution can fix it. Dent Revolution? Are they expensive? They do paintless dent repairs. They're quick, RAA approved, cheaper than traditional repairs, and they can come to you. That sounds great. What do we say?
Thank you.
That's okay. You can thank Dent Revolution.
Dents happen, but we've got you covered. Visit dentrevolution.com.au and send us your dent photos to get a quick quote today.
It's our first Christmas in July at Wayville Hyundai, and we're inviting you to join us by popping a gift under our Christmas tree for Kickstart for Kids. Together, we can help. Change the way you Hyundai at Wayville Hyundai, opposite the showground.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
20 minutes after 6, let's get into the news headlines on this Tuesday, the 23rd of July. More people are said to be turning to buy now, pay later schemes to cover everyday items such as fuel and groceries. New research by Compare Club reveals there's been a significant shift in consumer behaviour, up to 30% of users adopting the scheme for everyday purchases. Some fuel stations now offer the option to spread the cost of a tank of fuel over 6 weeks, while in supermarkets people can buy gift cards and then use them online and indeed in store.
That's a really sad sign of the times, isn't it?
Absolutely.
For you know, because you're gonna have to pay it at some point, and if you're at the point where, you know, essentials like transport and basic food items are on the equivalent of lay-by or afterpay, clearly that's the sign. And well, you know what that is? That's the other end of the story that your old man just read out at 6 o'clock. About rents being up 10% in the last 12 months. And we all know the impact of all the successive mortgage hikes that we've had. We're ever going to get a mortgage cut? Is that going to happen this year?
Doesn't feel like it.
It's just terrible, isn't it?
But you know what the awful way of talking about it? Do you know what will get us a mortgage cut? Huge spike in unemployment.
Yeah, unemployment.
Like, there's no good end to this.
You know, I was rabbiting on about the $10 cabbage.
Yes.
And blueberries costing, what was it, $10 a punnet at one stage earlier this year. Off the back of a conversation with my wife, can you get some blueberries for the kids' lunches? Yeah, sure. Go down to Drake's and I'll look at them. I'm not paying $10 for blueberries. I don't care if just one lotto. You know, to quote John Travolta from Pulp Fiction, as a matter of general principle, I'm not doing it. But I mentioned having been in Melbourne Airport over the weekend. I always, whenever I'm flying, I always use one of those Vicks inhalers because I just find it helps with the congestion for, takeoff and landing. And I realised I didn't have it with me. And I know things are always a bit more expensive at an airport, but I went and bought one. You know what it cost? One inhaler, one little plastic inhaler with a stick of camphor in it to clean out your pipes. $19.
What?
$19.
What would the cost be to put that together? 19 cents?
Yeah, probably. Produced on the scale that they are. And I just thought, it feels like it's got to the point in Australia where when you want to work out how much something costs, just pick any number you want.
Yeah, almost nothing's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You just go, that sounds about right.
Yeah, $19 to stick something up my schnoz.
At least 27 staff from the SA Museum have learned from a PowerPoint presentation that they would lose their jobs. A job restructure projected by the Institute's leadership was presented upon PowerPoint to the staff back in February, highlighting the new strategic vision, and it proposed 27 job losses in the research and collections team. The recommended restructure is currently under a government-led review by Premier Peter Malinauskas. An Australian woman has reportedly been sexually assaulted by a group of men in Paris. Local police yet to confirm reports by several French media outlets that a 25-year-old was found in distress and told officers she'd been raped by 5 men. No arrests have been made. That's a developing story that we'll monitor over the course of the morning for you. A Perth industrial designer is in talks with the AFL and other sporting leagues over a foam helmet that effectively reduces the impact of head knocks. Graham Addy has been working on the product for 12 years. He says it uses a system of balls that absorb and roll with an impact, slowing down the acceleration of the head.
It's all been independently tested in lab tests over in New South Wales, and the performance all over the helmet, not just in one part of it, is remarkably equal. It only varies a tiny amount.
Well, that would be intriguing because the science on existing helmet technology, it's always been pretty dismissive of what benefit it yields in terms of preventing concussion.
Yeah, yeah.
So that would be.
So the idea is everyone will wear them during the game.
Well, I mean, if the technology's born out, it's early days, but yeah, it's certainly foreseeable given how the AFL treats these matters at the moment that could be something that eventuates if this does work.
It's funny because they've been standard in gridiron in the NFL for years, but they don't seem to make any difference.
No, that's right. Guess what? Gridiron is a bigger concussion problem than Australian rules football.
Yeah, 100%.
It's in part because of helmets too, but that's another issue. Australian business owners crippled by a global tech outage on Friday are unlikely to receive any compensation. The incident cost hundreds of millions of dollars in lost earnings nationwide. A legal expert, however, says businesses will face challenges recouping the funds due to CrowdStrike's terms and conditions.
A few texts here on the old Dutton's text line talking about being reluctant to play golf or disappear for long runs on account of our domestic responsibilities.
Thought there might be.
Rod asks, Will, why couldn't you be that guy jogging and pushing the pram at the same time?
Yeah, I've seen that, and I tried it twice, and I went, this sucks. I can't. This is not for me. Perhaps I'm not that coordinated.
Can't you get one of those baby Bjorns and put Rosie? Well, she's too big now.
Oh, now she's there's no chance.
She's a toddler. She's not a baby anymore.
Can you see that?
She'll be 2 soon, won't
she? Can you see the scar on my head at the moment?
What did she belt you?
She just randomly, for reasons that only are clear to a toddler, decided while she was sitting on me, she just went with her mouth open.
You got to get on the Facebook live stream. That's the best reenactment I've ever seen.
It made no sense. I don't know what goes through children's brains. But yeah, she drew blood yesterday.
I can see it.
Yeah, I got like a little scratch on my head from her.
Oh no!
Do kids have
You're doing
sharp
better
teeth?
than me. Yeah, they do have very sharp teeth.
Right.
Baby teeth are really sharp.
They're ridiculously sharp.
conversely, I'm in trouble for assaulting one of my children by accident. I was putting Charlie to bed, who turned 7 yesterday, and I accidentally poked him in the eye quite badly in the dark. I went to give him a hug and I stuck my finger in his eye. Poor kid. And he said to me the next day, he said, "Dad, I've worked out, because of what you did last night, you owe me 38 scoops of ice cream."
Oh, what, it's like a blackmail
that's my
arrangement,
punishment.
isn't it?
He's actually written a little list, and he's going to tick them off over the coming weeks. 38 scoops of ice cream.
Well played. Well
Fair
played.
enough. He sort of almost ties with our breaking at 8 today about extortionate conduct.
Looking forward to that. Let's have a quick look at the weather before Tom ran. 18 and mostly sunny today. A little bit of rain tomorrow. 20, maybe a shower or two. Only 2 mils. Thursday, a bit more significant, albeit not quite what was forecast earlier in the week. Now, a top of 15, so it's going to be cool, but 1 to 7 mils of rain. And then there might be a little bit more of a shower on Friday, 16 and up to 4 mils, up to 5 on Saturday. But again, 0 to 5 both those days, 0 to 4 on the Friday. So perhaps we get nothing. Sunday, 15, cool, overnight low of just 6. No rain that day. And then Monday, 17. Overnight low 7, but dry as well. Tom Wren in the studio. Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderall Garage Doors, gliderall.com.au. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. A bit of breaking news. Alex de Minaur, he's been cleared to play at the upcoming Olympics. Now, remember, he pulled out of Wimbledon before his quarter-final clash against Novak Djokovic, that hip injury, and he was, brought to tears, essentially. So he's going to try and play. Rehab's been going really well, so that's good news.
Do we think tennis should be an Olympic sport?
Yeah, I'm not convinced.
I'm not either.
No, a bit like golf. Not convinced.
Is golf's an Olympic sport?
Golf's
isn't
an
it?
Olympic sport.
That's a relatively recent addition.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
There is an argument to pair it right back to athletics, isn't there?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't lose yachting and canoeing and kayaking and all of that, though.
I think where sports.
You need that.
I think where it's their pinnacle.
Australia needs that.
Yeah, I know. Completely.
I think where it's the pinnacle of the sport, it's a really good
Yes.
thing. But I think with tennis and golf, if you said at the start of the year, what do you want to win? There'd be no golfer that would say Olympic gold.
Yeah.
What about soccer?
They'd say British Open.
Soccer?
Yeah, again, take it or leave it.
Yeah, I think so.
Interestingly, though, for the women's game, it is the biggest event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For women's football. The sport that 100%.
I reckon the World Cup's
Yeah, the
overtaken
World
it
Cup's
now.
probably gotten there now. But historically, it has been the biggest one. The sport that needs to go is 3-on-3 basketball. It's not a sport. It's barely a pastime.
It's what you do down at the local park.
It means you couldn't find 10 guys to get together.
Is Woody
It's
Harrelson
not an
and
Olympic sport.
Wesley Snipes, are they in that one?
That was exactly right. White men can't jump. Even that was 2-on-2 ready.
It's actually, it should be renamed. It's the Olympic sport for people who don't really have any friends.
It's not a sport.
It's a good discussion point. Athletics, swimming, yep, absolutely. You know,
So with the time difference, so what? Europe's what 8 or so hours behind.
Yeah.
It's not going to be ideal. It really is ideal being
Yes.
Australians. So it kicks off Friday, doesn't it?
Friday, 27th.
Yeah.
So, 2 weeks. And the athletics will be, that's the pinnacle for me. And look, it would depend on times. I haven't looked exactly when, times are over there. I imagine it would be prime time over there, or for the American countries, so that it works out for them best.
I reckon this morning on 5AA's Addis Ababa sister station in Ethiopia, they're having the exact same discussion, but in a much more impassioned way, saying it should only be athletics.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
there's all these guys whose last name is Gabra Selassie.
Yeah.
Ethiopia would top the medal table every time.
Who could forget,
And Jamaica.
Who could forget his run in 2000 when he ran the last 100 metres in under 11 seconds.
Yeah, those blokes.
That was amazing.
Unbelievable. And when he even stopped and turned and smiled for the camera on the way.
Hey, speaking of amazing, this is a bit of a drive-by from Josh Carr yesterday, and reports that Ken Hinckley could be coaching West Coast next season. Let's have a listen to what Josh Carr had to say when he was quizzed about it by reporters.
I think you've probably just got to look at the source first, and I think it was Gossage, wasn't it? And it's never that reliable, is it? Whatever makes a good story and sells papers and gets people to watch, then that's what has to be reported. So we're fully aware of how that works.
Timmy Gossage just copying a bit of a whack there.
Was that on the report of Ken going to West Coast or Carr going?
Well, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe a bit of both.
Because there's been a bit of speculation about both of them potentially going there. Carr was quite emphatic, I thought,
he was strong
yesterday, saying, "Won't be me."
Yeah.
I thought it was really
strong.
interesting.
Very interesting.
Won't be me what?
Going to Perth.
Going to Perth.
Yeah, okay.
Because, of course, he's got a history there.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Speaking of baseless sports media speculation. I see Sammy McClure thinks Clayton Oliver's coming to Adelaide.
Well, yeah, if he doesn't stay at Melbourne, he said Adelaide's the club he'd be going to. Footy classified last night.
I think a lot of Crows fans would say, we don't care what behavioural problems the guy wants, just stick him in the midfield, and if he plays 12 games a year and spends the other 12 somewhere else, so be it.
You can get 10 clearances a game, get him in.
Crows fans are very quickly adoptive. You know, what you do in your personal time is no one else's business.
What happens off the field stays off the field.
Good on you, ready?
Thanks, boys.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny at 18 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
Police in Paris are combing through CCTV footage as they investigate reports of an Australian woman being sexually assaulted. French media outlets report a 25-year-old was found in distress and told officers she'd been raped by 5 men. No arrests have been made. Reporter Clinton Maynard, who's in Paris, says she was found outside a kebab shop in a busy tourist hub.
The owner of that kebab stop came to her aid. She was disorientated. She was, it would appear based on these reports, affected by alcohol. And she told the kebab shop owner that she had been attacked by some men earlier in the night. Those reports were made to the local police. She was taken to hospital for treatment.
The Health Ministry in Gaza says at least 70 Palestinians have been killed and more than 200 wounded by Israeli shelling and airstrikes on the eastern area of Khan Yunis. It comes after the Israeli military issued new evacuation orders for people living there. US Vice President Kamala Harris has given her first public address since Joe Biden withdrew from the upcoming election and endorsed her to stand in his place. Honouring college athletes at an event at the White House, the Vice President made no comment on her run for the top job. Instead, Ms. Harris offered President Biden's apologies for his absence as he recovers from COVID and paid tribute to her Commander-in-Chief's achievements in office.
And I am first-hand witness that every day our President Joe Biden fights for the American people, and we are deeply, deeply grateful for his service to our nation.
6 critical projects are being funded to help tackle domestic and family violence. Australia's National Research Organisation for Women's Safety is investing $1.49 million to expand on current research. Chief Executive Dr. Tessa Boyd-Kane says it will ensure a safer future for women and children.
Working with people who've got a history of incarceration and drug use, but also working in health settings, particularly for men who use intimate partner violence. We've got community-controlled work supporting the leadership of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in addressing violence within their communities.
Australian researchers say children exposed to harmful substances while in the womb are more likely to have higher health costs in adulthood. Gail Watson has more.
The study by several New South Wales universities found children who were exposed to tobacco, drugs and alcohol in the womb are more likely to have higher health costs up to the age of 20. The study found that the estimated total cost associated with substance use during pregnancy was $129 million and was comparable to annual government spending for Australian children with childhood cancer. The study also found that interactions with out-of-home care could potentially reduce these extra costs.
Efforts are underway to help better protect older Australians from RSV. Cases of the respiratory virus are on the rise, but a survey shows less than 1 in 2 people over the age of 60 are aware of the common illness. A campaign is being launched to help the age group understand potential risks associated with the disease. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
And it's a very good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Graham. We're going to start with some football. Port Adelaide is confident captain Connor Rosie will play in Friday night's crucial clash against Carlton at Marvel Stadium. Rosie spent much of the final quarter on the bench after hurting his hip against Richmond, but assistant coach Josh Carr has told Rowie and Treaders he should be okay.
Yeah, he'll come up. He's okay. And, you know, those hip pointers can be pretty sore, and obviously looked after him in that last quarter, but he's fine. He's ready. He'll be fine for this week.
The Blues will be without ruckman Tom De Koning, who's set to miss with a foot injury, but forward Harry Mackay has been cleared to play despite copping a head knock in the match against North Melbourne. Meantime, the AFL has confirmed it will issue please explain letters to 3 clubs in relation to the management of head knocks over the weekend. Carlton is one of those, along with Adelaide and Brisbane, after co-captain Harris Andrews entered concussion protocols when he suffered a concussion late in the game against Sydney. The Lions say the defender had only just returned to the field after successfully passing a compulsory concussion test for an earlier incident. Coach Chris Fagan telling Fox Footy the two were separate.
He did the test and he didn't have concussion at that point in time, so it's only in the dying stages, in that last minute when he fell, was one of the great acts of the game, actually the spoil he put on. He fell to the ground and knocked his head. That's when he actually got concussion, so he was fine up until then.
And basketball great LeBron James has been named flag bearer for the United States at the Paris Olympics. The Lakers star is hoping to win a 3rd gold medal in his 4th appearance at the Games. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Mostly sunny and 18 today. Tomorrow, late shower to 20. Thursday, showers 15. Friday, shower to 16. And right now, it's 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes to 7, police and weather not too far away. The other thing that's not too far away is the Olympic Games. Opening ceremony this Saturday morning at about 3 a.m. It'll all begin. We'll talk about that more over the course of the morning, but right now a man whose duties are just about done in preparing our Olympic swimmers to win medal after medal in the pool is their official chef. Man we love on the station, Chris Jarma. Chris, good morning to you from over there in France.
Good morning, David and Will. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Bonjour. Bonjour. Bonjour, sorry.
It's probably bonsoir for you, Chris, after a end of another long day behind the pans. 11 p.m. there in France. So have your duties all wound up now with the swimmers, and how did it go?
Yeah, no, it was an unbelievable experience. We had our last team meeting, big team meeting before the team heads into the village in Paris tomorrow. And I got a standing ovation for the food that I'd prepared for them for the last 5 weeks. So they really, even the coaches came up to me and said, you know, you've made such a massive impact. And it started in Cannes, which was the south of France, where we were at a resort where I only had to prepare dinner. I got to shop at this amazing market, and it was basically just like cooking for my family every night. But there was 70 of them, and then I'd get volunteers in the kitchen. A few of the swimmers are keen budding chefs. Sam Williams, I think it is, and Zach Stubley are very good chefs. And Seabomb, who is a young guy, he would follow me around the kitchen most days in Cannes and go shopping and they'd come shopping to it was called Metro. I think I spoke about it last time when I was here. It's like Disneyland for chefs and restaurateurs. So it was just everything you possibly could need.
So when you were in that town, did you go to the town market as well, or did they have only a sort of, because a lot of those small towns in France have one market day a week? Was that the setup where you were?
Yeah, so Saturday was the big market day. So a lot of the athletes would go there on Saturday and they could do their own shopping for breakfast and lunch, and then I would just have to prepare dinner. But yeah, the tomatoes, the berries were just unbelievable. And then we head to Schatz, or I'm probably not saying it. Lucy will have to correct me. I can never say it properly. It's Schatz, like yeah. And it's a different environment here. So it's a hotel. They did visit this hotel. I was here last year with the para team before they went to England, and they were here before the Commonwealth Games, and they said, we're not going back there because it was just, and I can understand why. I don't want to say anything bad about the hotel, but they just couldn't cope with the amount of food that the swimmers eat. I mean, we're running out of bacon, and not that they should eat bacon, but they do bacon and like 10 kilos of berries a day and
Wow.
35 kilos of yogurt a day. It's crazy. So, yeah, I think they appreciated the help as well.
What's the life of a swimmer like in the weeks leading up to an Olympic Games, Chris? Are they still training heavily, or are they sort of just tapering off and relaxing in the lead up to actually competing?
No, it's look, they do, when we were in the south of France for the first few weeks, they had the weekends off, but then they've all got their individual coaches from the clubs they come from all over Australia, and then once they go to the actual games, only certain coaches will be at the games. So different coaches will do different schedules for their athletes. Often it's like early morning training, and they'll come in to this team room here and have cereal and yogurt and fruit, and then they'll go to training, then they'll come back and have a hot breakfast, and then go have massage, and then have lunch, and then they'll train again, and then they'll come for dinner.
Were there any, without naming names, of course, any weird dietaries?
Okay, I will not name name, but there is one particular very young lady who is very fussy, and I met her parents at the orientation day back in Brisbane, and her dad he says, this sounds really bad, but my daughter is like a 12-year-old teenager. She only eats meat and tomato sauce, and so most of the time I'd cook her a steak and she cuts it up into little pieces and douses it in tomato sauce or ketchup. And then, but I did get her to eat some like soy braised pork, and she's had a few different dishes. So she's come a long way. I feel very proud that I've converted her to. She's a lot like my son Tommy. So yeah, but
sounds like cooking for Shane Warne.
Yes, definitely. Actually, and I have. Funny enough, I have not seen a jar of Vegemite the whole trip, but apparently in the village there's plenty. In the Australian part of the village, there's plenty of Vegemite. But I know a couple of swimmers have brought their own crunchy peanut butter that they're very fond of, and a couple of the guys have had kilos and kilos of coffee delivered. Believe it or not.
Wow. So, Chris, do you get to stick around now and watch any of the events, or is that it for you? Are you going to be back home behind the grill in Bowden soon?
In hindsight, yeah, I would have loved to stay and watch some of the events. I feel like I have this connection, so I'll definitely be watching at home with this new enthusiasm, and now that I've met them and got to see how they prepare, and everyone has been so nice, and the athletes and the coaches, and so appreciative. Tonight we had the final talk or meeting from Rowan, the head coach, and he had a video done from Bertram, the Australia 2
John Bertram.
Is it John Bertram?
Yeah.
And so I'll give you some intel here. They will be flying the boxing kangaroo at the swimming pool.
Oh, really?
Loud and proud. Yeah, so a lot of the young swimmers would have no idea how much that boxing kangaroo flag means and what it meant when we bet America back in 80 something?
83.
83, yeah. So he did a great video to the team, and Rowan is very passionate about the boxing kangaroo. So keep an eye out for the boxing kangaroo flag at the pool and a boxing kangaroo mascot that will be featured in social media a lot.
Excellent. Bit of breaking at 6:45. Hey,
yeah, there you go,
Chris. It sounds like the adventure of a lifetime and a chef's dream come true. And it's great that our national team, the entire Australian swim team, was fed and watered by one of Adelaide's best restaurateurs. It's a feather in your cap, mate. Better in a way than getting a Michelin star.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I need to thanks to Thomas Foods from Adelaide, who sent some beef to Canay and Shuts.
Oh wow!
All complimentary. So thanks to Darren Thomas and I even we got it sent to Canay, and I even got an emergency delivery here to the hotel in Shuts. for this week. So they on one of their last nights, they had slow roasted Australian porterhouse, so they could feel like they're at home. And I've got a little bit left for the last breakfast tomorrow morning, so I'm doing some steak and eggs for them.
Oh, excellent.
And some Spencer Gulf kingfish as well.
Viewers on the live stream, their mouths will be watering. We're looking at some of the various salads and so forth that you made, and all the omelettes as well. Looks like a gargantuan.
Yeah, I got a little.
Chris.
I've got a little omelette station here in the morning, and I won Player of the Day yesterday. So every day someone has to nominate, whoever gets picked as Player of the Day has to nominate someone as Player of the Day, and I got nominated by one of the swimmers, Meg Harris, as Player of the Day because a few of the swimmers came back late from training and they were packing up the hot breakfast, and I said, "Lorna, just wait," and made sure they all got something hot for breakfast.
Excellent. Good stuff, Chris. What an experience. Experience of a lifetime. Chris Jarma over in France. Now the athletes, it's up to them. He's done his bit, and the swimmers will be in the village and then competing in the games. But what an experience for our very own Chris Jarma here in Adelaide.
The whole process, because, sort of pretty much food as we know it started in that country. The Larousse gastronomique and all the methods, and even when you're a palmy with, or not a palmy, a schnitty with peppercorn sauce on the side, you're basically eating one of the classics of French cuisine without thinking about it. All those sauces and the fresh produce. What a terrific place to ply your trade. And as we said, it's a credit to the great South Australian chef Chris that he was the man. He got the tap.
All right, let's check traffic. The new McSmart meal from Macca's, 2 burgers, small fries and small soft drinks, $6.95. T's and C's apply.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Roads are looking A-OK for the run into work today. No great dramas. You will find works at Mawson Lakes, Salisbury, Home and Eldersmith Road. Also some works at Teacher Regatta. Look out for this morning. Northings Road near Perseverance Road and slow at O'Halloran Hill for works in the Southern Expressway near Majors Road. Speeds at 80 there. Early morning cameras, Beluce, Rennigal Farm and Darley Road at Paradise. Grab a 4 and 20 Traveller Pie plus a Red Bull 250ml for just $6 at Coles Express and Ready Express. T's and C's apply. See you in store. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide tech guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Unfold your story with Galaxy AI on the new Samsung Galaxy Z series. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6 have big battery power for creating and playing. They both feature a slim dynamic screen that flips up or folds out. It has a new hinge, screen, powerful camera and Galaxy AI to drive on-the-fly language translation or edit photos. Pre-order the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6 and Fold 6 before the 31st of July and receive a $400 Harvey Norman gift card and 1 year of Samsung Care Plus valued at $229 via redemption. Prices start from $1,799 for the Samsung Flip and $2,749 for the Fold at Harvey Norman. Terms and conditions apply.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you.
The critical part of any healthcare is the care. It's about being by your side when you and your loved ones need us most. Through late night fevers, through the rough and tumble of weekend sports, through weird rashes, mystery aches, and knowing in your heart that something's not quite right. From surgery to rehabilitation, through emergencies, mental illness, chronic diseases, and for better health. Your doctor cares. Let's take care of them too. Authorised by Dr. David Pope, Samoa, Adelaide.
Eliminate the middleman with JB Caravans. JB Caravans are a factory direct caravan dealership and they're having their grand opening sale this week from Thursday to Sunday. Check out full off-road hybrids from $79,990 and Aussie-made touring vans from $74,990, as well as incredible deals on off-road vans, Iveco motorhomes and cash and carry gear. Don't miss JB Caravans grand opening sale. Starts Thursday, ends Sunday, 11 to 37 Port Wakefield Road, Jeps Cross. Or visit jbcaravans.com.au.
Suzuki is celebrating 40 years of Swift with an all-new Suzuki Swift Hybrid. So, book a test drive today in Australia's best value hybrid, the all-new Suzuki Swift Hybrid, for fun's sake.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
10 minutes to 7. Our wrap of the morning stories coming up after 7 o'clock, including some really troubling story out of Paris, France, and also new drug detecting that the SAPOL are investigating, launching in 2025. They're putting a tender out for technology that will mean they can test for cocaine use for people behind the wheel. Might be news to people that the current devices couldn't test.
Yeah, I
cocaine.
assume they could.
So did I, but that's not the case.
Sounds like a better use of police time than sending the... I don't want to start a fight here. This happened once before. Sending police into little pop-up pubs in Port Noarlunga to count if there's
someone standing up,
solitary patron standing up having a beer. What's that Clive James quote? We think we're a nation of convicts. We're actually a nation of prison guards.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Let's head to the Weather Bureau. Chris Kent's on the line. Chris, what kind of Tuesday do we have ahead?
G'day guys, yeah, we've got a pretty nice day today across Adelaide, mostly sunny conditions expected with a maximum of 18 degrees, so above average temperatures for the next couple of days before a cold front moves across for probably overnight Wednesday. But, yeah, we'll see those winds picking up a little bit throughout the afternoon and particularly tomorrow as well ahead of that front, maximum of 20 degrees tomorrow, but late shower or two on the forecast for Wednesday, so a little bit of rain coming in late tomorrow with that front expected to arrive overnight Thursday. So, yeah, not expected to be as bad as the front that we've just had last weekend, but could see a little bit of gustiness around on Thursday after that front has moved through.
Good stuff. Thank you for that, Chris. Let's head to SAPOL. Senior Constable David Backus on the line. David, you've caught up with an extreme speed driver at FIVEAA.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, look, I'm glad to report we've had a relatively quiet night, but sadly we have detected a couple of serious traffic accidents, and that's especially disturbing in light of the recent serious collisions. So the first incident was at 10:50 p.m. last night. A highway patrol officer was conducting speed detection duties on Elliott Street in FIVEAA, and he's recorded a Kawasaki motorcycle travelling at 122 kilometres an hour in a 60 zone. So he was able to safely stop that, and checks revealed the rider was only the holder of a learner's permit, so pretty worrying. Yeah, so the rider, he's a 17-year-old lad from Wales Stewart. He's been reported for aggravated extreme speed. He won't be able to hold a driving permit for 12 months, and his motorcycle's been impounded for 28 days.
Got a bit more learning to do by the sounds of things, David.
A lot more learning, and unfortunately he hasn't learnt the hard way at this point in time. Well, he has, but it's just going to cost him a lot of money, and it's not his life, fortunately, or somebody else's. But,
correct. Unbelievable. Also, a drink driver's been caught in Dernancourt.
Yeah, so that was about 2 a.m. this morning. Holden Hill Patrol spotted a blue BMW travelling along Lower North East Road at Dernancourt. They've stopped that vehicle. And they've spoken to the driver, a 49-year-old Hectorville man, and he's been submitted to a breath test. And he's returned a positive reading of 0.240, so nearly 5 times the legal limit. So he's been reported for high-range drink driving. He's lost his licence for 12 months, and his car's been impounded, and he'll be facing court in the future as well.
A couple of people there who got themselves in strife in the most unnecessary and avoidable fashion.
Thank you for that, David. Senior Constable David Backus from SAPOL. Let's head over to the US. Miley Hogan for 7 News joins us from Delaware. Miley, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So Miley, overnight, more senior Democrats have fallen in behind Kamala Harris to succeed Joe Biden as the presidential nominee. Yet, is there any sign of the president at the moment? He's cancelled all his events, the last I saw.
Yeah, in the last few hours, we've just had an update about Joe Biden and his condition. His doctor now saying that his COVID symptoms have almost completely resolved, that he's feeling better, and so we may be seeing him, I would guess, probably in the next couple of days. We do know that he has some important meetings at the White House. Benjamin Netanyahu is there. He's due to meet with him tomorrow. So we could be likely to see him in that time frame, and that's when he'll address the nation as well. We'd expect him to do that shortly to kind of explain his decision in more detail once those COVID symptoms clear up.
Miley, one of the other big angles that's developed overnight is the staggering amount of money that has been pledged by donors, a lot of them private individuals, but also some more sort of small L liberal businesses have fallen in behind the Dems now that Biden has said that he's gone and endorsed Kamala Harris to run.
Yeah, guys, $81 million US has come in 24 hours. That is a huge sum of money for any candidate to be able to pull in that amount of money in such a short amount of time. I think the read on that is just saying that the Democrats are energized. They are out there trying to capitalize on this moment, that they are starting afresh, that they are ready to run this race and push forward on this new candidate. Of course, Kamala Harris is not the presumptive nominee yet. We've still got to go through all of that process. But at this stage, it's really looking like it will be her. No one else has emerged to put their hand up. And it doesn't feel like anyone else will put their hand up at this stage. The Democrats are going to want to have a seamless succession plan and make it look like they have an end to this chaos that has been plaguing their party for the last few weeks.
Good stuff, Miley, as always. Miley Hogan there for 7 News in Delaware. I was thinking overnight, given that the key criticism that the Republicans are making of Kamala Harris is that basically she's a flake who hasn't done anything, or rather has been derelict in her duty as Biden has presided over, probably his biggest failing would have to be the total loss of control of the border, the Mexican border. Wouldn't it? And given the whole lame duck thing as well, with Republicans, very strongly arguing, if you're not fit to run, you're not fit to serve, wouldn't it be better to give her the weight of a few months of incumbency where she could come in and, if I was advising the Dems, I'd say, listen, we need to get control of this border situation. And to come in now and say, all right, the president is actually going to resign, I'm going to be sworn in, and the first thing I'm going to do is establish, just get the most, a Peter Dutton, Scott Morrison type person in the Democrats and say, you're the border czar. And the next 3 months is about, well, this is unacceptable. And even if it sounds, even in a way, like you're campaigning against yourselves, because that issue is, when Trump talks about that, even though he does it in florid and inflammatory language, the truth is they have lost control of the borders. And I've got no truck with Trump's, particularly with my Mexican biases. So many of the things he says about those people are terrible. A lot of them are kids coming from impoverished countries like El Salvador, Honduras, and Venezuela, predominantly. They've got every reason to get out of those hellhole countries. But you can't have, as John Howard said, we will decide who comes here and the circumstances under which they come. It would make her a much more compelling proposition if people could actually see her doing some real work.
Outside the Democrat movement, it probably makes her a more compelling proposition. The question is, what appetite is there to want to do that? What appetite does she have? She famously,
she's such a lefty.
Exactly. She famously said, well, that she was asked, remember, have you been to the border? And she says, well, I've never been to Europe either. Everyone, that was odd. Scott and Modbury, good morning.
God save the Queen, man.
Yeah. G'day, boys. I was just going to say what Will just said then. Dead set, if World War III is going to happen, the last thing I want is this woman whose default setting when she can't answer a question is to cackle like a witch. That's not the last noise I want to hear before the world ends. Dead set, boys. She's that incompetent, it's not funny. And you're talking about the border? She was the border. That's how that question come about. Right. She had no idea. She'd be more dangerous than Dementia Joe.
Thank you, Scott. Scott and Modbury. A few good texts about the news item regarding the speeding motorcyclist that we're going to get to after 7 o'clock as well. News first, back in a moment.
CMAX Clinical Research is seeking healthy participants to help trial a potential new treatment for primary biliary cholangitis. Your involvement could impact millions globally. You could be eligible for this trial. Call CMAX today if you're aged 18 to 65 and have no significant health concerns. You'll be paid for your time and contribution to help advance medical research. Want to know more about the study? Head on to cmax.com.au and look for the PBC study. That's cmax.com.au.
Feel good health catch on with Bupa. Get up to 10 weeks free when you join Bupa on eligible products. T's and C's apply. For award-winning health insurance, search Bupa 10 weeks free today.
Stay warm this winter with Mac Trade Services. Take advantage of huge SA government rebates on reverse cycle air conditioners. If you are a concession card holder, you can get a reverse cycle Actron air conditioner from only $599, supplied and installed. That's nearly a 70% discount off the normal price. Get in quick while stocks last. Visit the Mac Trade Services office in Rose Park or call 1300 430 917.
It's our first Christmas in July at Wayville Hyundai, and we're inviting you to join us by popping a gift under our Christmas tree for Kickstart for Kids. Together, we can help. Change the way you Hyundai at Wayville Hyundai, opposite the showground.
Mate, I'm caught in the storm.
Yeah, it's rough, hey?
Yeah, a tree branch hit my car and it's dented for sure.
Oh, don't worry. I've had that before. Just go see Dent Revolution.
Dent Revolution? Why them?
Because their paintless dent repairs keeps your paint original. They're RAA approved and can do your repairs on site. My car looks new again.
That sounds great.
Dents happen, but we've got you covered. Visit dentrevolution.com.au and send us your dent photos to get a quick quote today.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny at 18 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Make RAA-approved windscreen repairer, Complete Windscreens, your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
Police in Paris are combing through CCTV footage as they investigate reports of an Australian woman being sexually assaulted. French media outlets report a 25-year-old was found in distress and told officers she'd been raped by 5 men. No arrests have been made. Reporter Clinton Maynard, who's in Paris, says she was found outside a kebab shop in a busy tourist hub.
The owner of that kebab stop came to her aid. She was disorientated. She was, it would appear based on these reports, affected by alcohol. And she told the kebab shop owner she had been attacked by some men earlier in the night. Those reports were made to the local police. She was taken to hospital for treatment.
The US Secret Service director has faced off with angry lawmakers over security failures in relation to an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Kimberly Cheadle is under pressure to resign, facing a flurry of criticism over how a gunman was able to get a clear line of sight at the rally. Ms. Cheadle acknowledged the agency did fail during the shooting, but has defended staying in her role. She says they did have adequate staff on site.
Our personnel created a body bunker on top of the president,
I get that.
shielding him.
Yeah, this was an AR-15 style weapon that would have made pretty quick work if he was determined and able to do so.
Kamala Harris has praised President Joe Biden's achievements in her first public address since he quit the race for re-election and endorsed her to replace him. The Vice President has hosted a White House event in the President's absence as he recovers from COVID. Ms. Harris says Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched in modern history. Australian business owners crippled by a global tech outage on Friday are unlikely to receive any compensation. The incident cost hundreds of millions of dollars in lost earnings nationwide. A legal expert says businesses will face challenges recouping the funds due to CrowdStrike's terms and conditions. Government-led housing projects will be streamlined to help overcome the housing crisis. Housing Minister Nick Champion says at least 10 construction companies will join a pre-approved shortlist of builders to work on government developments across metropolitan Adelaide.
One of the things we're doing now is putting in a new builders panel, which enables government-led projects to start quicker. And that's a really important initiative out of the Premier's housing roadmap, and another example of how we're pulling every lever to get people into new homes. So these projects will reduce red tape, both for builders and for government, and allow us to begin builds far quicker.
Exercise is helping Australians with osteoarthritis beat their depression. Up to 20% of patients dealing with the intense pain report feeling down. Victoria University clinical exercise psychologist Professor Itamar Levinjo says some are concerned physical activity will make their pain worse, but he insists that's not the case.
Many report that once they start moving, after several minutes when they start walking, this level of stiffness and pain actually is reduced. We need to warm the joint to get some of those benefits. So if we can overcome the first few minutes of the uncomfortable, then we will see the benefit.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
Tom Wren, the Olympics are just around the corner.
Yeah, only a few days away now, aren't they, Graham? So there's a lot of speculation about who's going to be our flag bearer, and the rumour is Jessica Fox will be handed the honour of being Australia's flag bearer for the Games. Now, despite being scheduled to compete the next day, the champion kayaker has confirmed she will attend Friday's opening ceremony. Fox, a four-time Olympian, insists this is not a sign she'll be carrying the flag.
And it just gets me so inspired being with our Olympic team, being, part of such an incredible moment, seeing the flame being lit. It lights the fire in me for my competition.
Australian golfer Jason Day is heaping praise on fellow Olympian Minwoo Lee ahead of their campaign in Paris. Lee's enjoying his first full year on the PGA Tour, finishing runner-up twice and only missing the cut once. Well, tennis star Alex de Minaur is heading to Paris despite his hip injury that he picked up at Wimbledon. But Tour de France winner Tadej Pogacar has pulled out of the Olympics due to extreme fatigue. He's had a big year, also winning the Giro d'Italia. Let's go to football, and Crows players will return to the training track this morning after having the day off yesterday. Adelaide will be hoping to make it back-to-back wins when they host Hawthorn on Sunday, but look like they'll have to make at least two changes, with Jordan Dawson and Jordan Butts both set to miss through injury. Will Hayward, meantime, is in doubt to play for the Swans against the Bulldogs on Sunday after spraining his ankle against Brisbane. Tom Papley will be out for between 4 and 6 weeks with his own ankle injury. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now the 5AA traffic.
Morning there at Lonsdale. Reports of a crash on the Southern Expressway near O'Sullivan's Beach Road, causing solid delays inbound at the moment. St Peters works there, Paynham Road near Ann Street. Little sluggish at the moment at Teachery Gully, North East Road near Perseverance Road, and down to 40 South Roddick Landorf roadworks heading into the city. Cameras, Lindock Road, Gawler East, and Smart Road at Mudbury. Start your next adventure with Subaru. With free rego and CTP, 5 years roadside assist and a few voucher on selected models. Ends July 31. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Mostly sunny and 18 today. Tomorrow a late shower to 20. Thursday showers 15. Friday a shower to 16. Right now in Adelaide it's 10. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 after 7, good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday if you're joining us for the first time. Not good news if you're planning to travel on the Southern Expressway anytime soon. Paul in Hackham's called in. Paul, it sounds like it's a car park at the moment.
It is, mate. I am at a standstill. I'm between the O'Sullivan's Beach turnoff and Beach Road, and it's just at a standstill.
Have you got any sense as to what appears to have caused it, Paul, or can't you see anything yet?
I can't see anything at all, mate. Just traffic lights, or just headlights and tail lights all the way.
Oh, no. What a shambles.
It is. People are using the emergency exit and going on the other way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah,
hey, on the upside, Paul, how good's the sunrise, though?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, that's what I'm actually looking at right now.
Yeah, Lucy and I were just out on the balcony together having a squiz at it. She described it aptly as looking like fairy floss.
We've got it up on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream at the moment. Paul, thank you for that.
Thanks to one of our listeners, Catherine in Strathalbyn as well, who took a lovely photograph in Strath of the sunrise and sent it in to us. Good on you, Catherine.
Terrific picture, Catherine. Thank you very much for that. Keep them coming in. And also, if you've got any update on what's happening on the expressway, let us know. We're just looking at the traffic map right now. It doesn't look like it's good news anytime soon on that front. We'll keep an eye on it for you and check in again. If you've got some more information, do give us a buzz. 8223 0000 is the number. Spoke with the SAPOL before the break about an extreme speeds motorcyclist, L-plater, going to lose the licence for 12 months, losing the bike for 28 days. And a few people have said, well, that's a discrepancy that sort of invites bad behaviour, doesn't it? Rob says, if the latter caught for extreme speed can't have a licence for 12 months, why give him his bike back after 28 days? Andrew said the same thing. So in 28 days, both of these serious road offenders can get back on the road when they get their vehicles back.
Yeah, I think in the case of that 17-year-old, I wonder what the kid's parents are up to as well.
Yeah.
you know, you got to pay a little bit more attention to how your young chap is developing than that, don't you?
Well, yeah. It's just a miracle that 160-something k's an hour, it doesn't end. Well, inevitably it ends in something fatal, doesn't it?
Yeah,
well, that's
completely.
That's on a track to being you or someone else being killed.
One of the key reasons why motorcyclists are so overrepresented in the road statistics every year is that some of them take stupid risks.
Police Commissioner Grant Stevens will join us on the program tomorrow morning. Let's jump into some of the news today, starting in Paris. Now, the Olympics is just a couple of days away, and we wish it was an Olympic-related good news story. Unfortunately, it's not. Australian potentially the victim of a very serious crime. Have a listen to Ashley Mullaney on Sunrise a short time ago.
Major police investigation is underway tonight after an Australian woman reported being gang raped here in the Party district of Paris. This 25-year-old woman, according to several French media outlets, sought refuge in a kebab store just metres from Moulin Rouge. She went inside with her dress on back to front. It was reportedly torn, and she told police that she had been raped by 5 men. Now, this woman was taken to a local hospital. It was there that she underwent a medical examination. Just a horrific incident that's been reported here tonight. It's alleged that this happened over the weekend, the early hours of Saturday morning.
Area around the Moulin Rouge is very touristy. There's lots of people constantly because it's such an attraction. It's not.
I've never been there.
I mean, Paris, like any big city, has dark, dingy places and dangerous places.
100%.
But that said, we don't know whether she just
story.
ended up here getting help or whether it happened in the immediate vicinity or whatnot. We don't know much about it, but just an awful story.
Just terrible. Poor woman.
Back here in South Australia, this is really interesting, this story yesterday that came out from SAPOL. Drivers and motorbike riders will now be tested for cocaine once technology comes on board early next year. So 2025, they're going to start this. Police have announced cocaine will join the list of drugs including methamphetamine, cannabis and MDMA that officers will check for with random drug tests. Cocaine can last in the system for up to 24 hours after it's been consumed. They have to change some regulation to include it, but that'll all be done by 2025. There's new technology that they've put out to tender. Last year, 31 people were killed, 112 were seriously injured in crashes where drivers or riders tested positive to drugs. The number of serious crashes involving drivers with cocaine has increased in recent years. Here's the Police Commissioner.
We've been doing random drug testing in South Australia since 2006, targeting methamphetamine, MDMA and cannabis, but as of 2025 we'll be expanding our program to include the ability to test for cocaine. Whilst the effects of cocaine are relatively short-lived in terms of how people experience using the drug, that it does remain present within the body for up to 24 hours, which gives us the ability to use our drug testing processes to detect road users who are using this illicit substance.
I reckon most people listening, certainly I did, and I think you did too, thought this was already something they got tested for. Given how widespread its usage is.
The thing with all these drugs is how long they stay in your system. So you might think the high is finished, but they still have an effect on your judgment and your cognitive abilities and your ability to make the sort of instant reactions that are often required on the roads. Did you see that story last week? I think you and Lucy might have even mentioned it, that Sean Fuster, about that mother who killed her son in a crash in 2021 while she was still under the influence of meth. But she argued, and the judge was extremely generous in basically saying, yep, I agree, that as a mother, she was a regular user of meth, but that she always took the precaution of not taking it when her child was around. So it was sort of like she kept the mothering role and the meth-consuming role separate. Well, that really wasn't the case, because it was found in the trial that at the moment, and part of her defence was, well, the accident happened when she turned around from the driver's seat to check that her son was wearing his seatbelt, which sounds like a caring thing to do. But the problem was that her judgment was impaired because she still had meth in her system. So her ability to do all the things that you're required to do as a parent was impaired by her life as a drug addict. She got a $50 good behaviour bond. $50. 50.
It's just outrageous.
And look, I can sort of see the judges thinking in a way, because the judge...
Well, what capacity did you have to pay any
said,
fine?
No penalty I impose on you is ever going to make up or is ever going to eclipse or match the guilt and anguish you clearly feel. And as a mother, of course she feels that. Yet, the path that she chose to go down, it just seems like it's just such a nothing penalty. $50.
There's surely a role in the punishment component of the whole thing too that's about sending signals to other people. Like there may be someone else who offends in similar
that
circumstances.
Sends a signal.
Yeah, but there might be someone else who commits an offence in similar circumstances that aren't the exact same, where the stakes aren't as high as you might lose a child, but you might lose someone, or you might do something dangerous, and there's no message that's being sent.
Yeah, I remember. Did you ever read those parenting books before Rosie came along? Did you have a bit of a squiz at Baby Love or whatever they're called?
Sure.
You sort of have a cursory glance at a few of the pages before you go back to watching sport or whatever. But I can remember reading one more than 2 decades ago, and it had a chapter about breastfeeding, and it made the point that there was no evidence that if you're a regular user of drugs such as heroin, that it necessarily affected your breast milk.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't read that book.
No, but I remember thinking, well, what about all the other things that are required to maintain a heroin habit, like, breaking in homes and stealing video recorders, take them down to the pawnbroker at 3 o'clock in the morning? How does that sort of gel with your role as a nursing parent?
How bizarre.
But it just seems like indicative of a mindset of, let's treat these sort of poor choices that result in addiction as a sort of health thing that should just be managed.
Well, that is literally the way a lot of people think it should be managed these days.
Just a lot of kids suffering as a result of it.
Yeah, most certainly. Just lastly, out of the US, we've heard overnight the first time Kamala Harris, the current vice president, now the presumptive nominee for the Democrat Party until someone else steps forward, have speak since Joe Biden decided that he would not contest the November election.
Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched in modern history. In one term, he has already, yes, you may clap. In one term, he has already surpassed the legacy of most presidents who have served 2 terms in office.
The only other developments really in terms of the politics of this have been the bigwigs of the Democrat Party coming together to try and either endorse Kamala Harris or plot a path forward. So the two camps are a bit something like Nancy Pelosi represents those that have come forward publicly and said we support Kamala Harris, whereas people like the Democratic leader of the House of Reps, Hakeem Jeffries, and the Democrat Senate leader Chuck Schumer are meeting a little bit later today. They haven't yet endorsed her publicly, and they're having a meeting with her to try and plot what the best path forward is for the party. So that's the latest on that development, but we'll head back to the US after 8:30 today. A few texts coming through. Should we do a couple of those before we head to the break? Dutton's text line, 0480 1395.
One here from Anthony says, my advice is to have some methamphetamine at home if you kill someone in your car or stab your father. These days it's a get-out-of-jail-free card. And Rob, with a cynical tongue rightly and firmly in his cheek, says, I'm sure the bicycle bandit was careful not to rob banks while his kids were riding with him. And another one just from Nathan, expletive deleted, says, what the blank is wrong with our legal system?
The Dutton's text line, you can discover the new hybrid-powered Tucson SUV at Dutton's Hyundai, Murray Bridge. Dutton's, they are easy to do business with. Phil Curry's not too far away. Talk sport on the other side of this break, and also big event coming up this end of this week. KG's 85th birthday.
This is going to be excellent.
That's going to be a big event as well.
And it's a ticketed event too, isn't it?
It is a ticketed event. And a breaking date that you're going to want to stick around for. It's going to be it's a big story about South Australia.
We should ask Phil an Olympics question. Because at the Sydney Games, Phil was one of the accredited journalists. We were in this little team together.
Sports journo, Phil Curry.
Phil, Annabelle Crabb, Malcolm Farr and me were in this little group of political journos who were there in case there was some diplomatic incident or terror attack or what have you. We weren't there to cover sport. And because the games went so smoothly, after about 3 days, we said, do we actually have to do any work while we're here?
Yeah.
And all the editors said, no, just go and cover some of the lesser sports. Phil ended up covering the Jane Savile Walk.
Of course he did.
He was
That's
on the
right.
scene when she got red carded.
Yeah. He had some uncharitable things to say about the judge, I think.
Oh, he's still angry about it.
Yeah. Well, that might have been an off-air conversation. I won't go into that. All right, let's check traffic. Forget I said that.
He knows he's walking.
He does know he's walking. The new McSpart meal from Macca's, 2 burgers, small fries and small soft drinks, $6.95. T's and C's apply.
Thanks, Will. At Lonsdale, multi-car crash on the Southern Expressway near O'Sullivan's Beach Road causing delays inbound. Marion, urgent electricity works on Sturt Road near Mowring Road. Slow for works at Teacher Gully, North East Road near Perseverance Road, and getting busy south road at Glandore. New bitumen went down last night, so speeds at 40. Cameras Blue East Road, Ingle Farm, and Beavich Road at Ingle Farm as well. The Woolworths online super sale is on now, up to 50% off new products every week until August 6. Shop woolworths.com.au. Exclusions and T's and C's apply while stocks last. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Let's talk about knives. Kai Ma, Attorney General, thank you for your time.
We're keen for feedback. It closes at the end of August.
I say yes. There's my vote for that one. There's your response. Right. Do it.
Consider your feedback noted, Matthew, and I think that's a sensible way to go.
Matthew Pantelis.
Thank you for our very first piece of feedback on this presentation this morning, Matthew.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
What starts with A and ends with E? Supplements for you and me.
Arbor Vitae health supplements are now available at Chemist Warehouse for just $49.99 a bottle. You save over $19 a bottle at Chemist Warehouse.
Arbor Vitae. Come on in.
We open our doors to people we trust and care about. And for over 85 years, South Australians have been opening their doors to Rest Haven. In turn, we've been opening doors to an easier, better life at home. From personal care to help with the shopping and social outings, you'll welcome the care that Rest Haven brings.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. What's keeping you? Did you know that you might be eligible for a rebate on a new appliance like a dryer or fridge? You might even qualify for a purchase you've already made. Just visit the Yes website for a list of appliances and the size of the cashback available. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from your energy saving solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. My personal guarantee to you on value is this. I guarantee you that all National Tiles Super Saver ranges are the lowest prices in Australia. And if not, will beat any competitors in the nation by an unprecedented 25%. Yes, on all our National Tiles Super Saver ranges, I guarantee to beat any competitors in the nation by an unprecedented 25%. That's my personal guarantee to you on value. Conditions apply.
For those whose pool is the main feature of their yard, Walco offer a special mesh cover to keep debris and leaves out while making your pool area look stunning all through winter. Join the great cover-up and ask Walco about their stylish new mesh pool covers. Walco.com.au.
Know the news with Adelaide's 7 News. Don't miss Adelaide's leading news hour tonight at 6 o'clock.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
"23 minutes after 7, big day this Friday, KG's 85th birthday. It's all happening at the Kent Town Hotel. You can check out their award-winning bars, restaurant, alfresco streetscapes, balcony and 250-seat function room. The big excitement for 5AA listeners on the day as well is going to be that from 12:30 there'll be a live Conversations with Cornsey with KG, which will be just terrific. So you'll hear that, KG from the Kent Town Hotel this Friday.
From my... Don't want to let any cats out of any bags here, but there's a few big names who are going to be involved in this, paying tribute to the great man.
Is that right?
Yep. Really big names.
Okay. Well, for that, all will be revealed. Make sure you're listening to 5AA and Conversations with Cornsey on Friday. Let's turn our attention to sport on what was KG, the shift he made famous, Rowie and Timmy G, last night. Rowie is on the program talking about he responded to a bit of a grab from Laura Kane from the AFL. She talks about all the confusion that exists with tackling at the moment over the course of the last week. And the AFL having made more than 35 rule changes in the name of player health and safety in recent times. Rowi's biggest issue lies in the three most important stakeholders, players, coaches and fans, all three groups being completely confused as to what's going on. Have a listen.
This is my starting point, and I would say if I was Laura Kane sitting in that chair and I've got to report the executive who reported the commission, I would say this. I'm concerned because the key stakeholders, and there are three, these are the biggest three, not TV, not money in the tin tank, not litigation, not lawyers down the path going to sue us. These are the three things. Fans are confused and disenchanted. Coaches don't know how to coach tackling, and they've got to change. Every one of them has spoken about that, and players, the calibre of Travis spoke. I could name them all. We know them. I don't want to go on about it. But when those three key stakeholders, and generally with an industry like this and in business, it takes a lot to turn the Titanic. It should have turned, but it hit a bloody iceberg. We're hitting the iceberg, and there's no turning it now. They've gone too far.
Not sure what your awareness will have been of this. A lot of this happened whilst you were away. Charlie Cameron was sort of the focal point of it all when he executed a strong tackle, but it wasn't slinging, but he drove the guy into the ground, got a concussion, he got 3 weeks. But on the same weekend, Port Adelaide player Logan Evans a guy ran past him and elbowed him in the head, flying elbow, WWE style, Roses from Gold Coast. Because he didn't concuss him, he got 1 week. And people were saying, so one was a guy just doing what you do in footy and it accidentally went wrong. He couldn't have done anything else. There's nothing more you could do. Everyone acknowledges that. Another guy tried to hurt someone deliberately, and just because he didn't do it well enough.
Yeah, he didn't pull it off.
Yeah,
it's like throwing a haymaker.
And the AFL's defended all of it, saying, well, listen, we make no...
Well, I think if I was a Port supporter, I'd be scratching my head about the Carlton issue over the weekend.
Oh, with the concussion?
Just remarkable. I mean, given because Port had to pay that whopping, what was the fine again they paid for the Aaliyah?
90,000?
I think, yeah, was it 100 grand, about 100 grand?
Yeah.
But Carlton do it.
Crows have been issued a please explain about how Jordan Dawson's concussion was managed over the weekend.
See, having just spent a lot of time watching the Euros, this is one of the things that makes soccer such a great sport. There's a brilliant book about the history of football, soccer as we call it in Australia, called The Ball is Round. It's one of the first points that he's made in the rule book governing soccer. You watch a soccer game, apart from the offside rule, nothing has changed in soccer since, there were men in caves holding clubs and doing Neolithic drawings on the wall. There's a great consistency and purity to soccer. The AFL with its tinkering, maybe it's just part of the modern malaise of let's hold a meeting for no apparent reason. Because 35 rule changes in, less than 2 years?
Yeah, no wonder people are. And I think that how you measure engagement's interesting. Because I think I fall a bit into this category with the AFL in recent years. I'm not going to ever watch the Crows less. And I'll probably still watch a Thursday night game as much as I ever would, or Friday night, under the lights. But I'm watching as many other games of footy over the weekend as I once did.
100%.
No.
I can remember 10 years ago, like if Geelong were playing Hawthorn, I'd always go, oh, that's good. That's a good rivalry game. Now I just couldn't care less.
Yeah. I think that's harder to measure, I reckon, but just anecdotally, it feels like that's going on.
And you know what they're using to keep the numbers up? Bet with your mates.
Yeah.
Like the whole idea,
good point.
the thing that has made dull games interesting for people is that you're in a multi with your buddies. And this is where it's become this cancer for young men, and the whole marketing around it is if you're not one of the boys and you can't come into work on Monday and go, oh, did my ass, bloody Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Because there's no other thing that makes those games interesting anymore.
I think it's a totally reasonable criticism. All right, 5AA News is coming up. Your thoughts, folks. We always like those as well. 8223 0000. Shoot us a text on the Duttons text line or jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. Noted Olympic walking journalist and federal political reporter for the Australian Financial Review, Phil Curry, next.
The Posture Chair Company has moved to a new home at 107 Sturt Street between King William Street and Whitmore Square. Discover our tailor-made chairs crafted right here in Adelaide with our patented zero-gravity design. And say goodbye to all comfort complaints. Celebrate our grand opening with us and save up to $1,000 on your brand new tailor-made recliner chair, plus complimentary express build, plus Plus, free delivery. Come on in and visit our new place, the Posture Care Chair Company. T's and C's apply.
The 5AA studios, they're a bit like a playground. Like most playgrounds, they do get a little messy. Fortunately, Corporate Clean ensures they're always ready for another day of play. 5AA, one of over 200 businesses that they clean throughout South Australia.
That's right. An unclean workplace leads to more absences and less productivity. Studies on bacteria have revealed that desktops can be just as unsanitary as bathrooms. Well, not in offices. Cleaned by the great people at Corporate Clean. Where they don't cut corners, they clean them.
Corporate Clean are a locally owned business with over 30 years of experience cleaning all types of office settings. There's no one better suited for the job. For a free quote and assessment, go to corporateclean.com.au.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny at 18 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
Police in Paris are reportedly investigating claims an Australian woman was gang raped in the French capital. Clinton Maynard is in France.
Several French media outlets are reporting a 25-year-old woman was attacked by as many as 5 men on Saturday. The woman was reportedly found distressed outside a kebab shop in the early hours. The reports say the woman told police she was raped by 5 men earlier, but she was unable to provide detail. Alliance Paris police have told French media they will do everything possible to identify those allegedly involved. The woman was supposed to leave the country on Sunday.
Kamala Harris has set a presidential donations record, raising $81 million in the 24 hours since Joe Biden dropped out and she announced her campaign. US campaign officials say more than 880,000 donors contributed to the record haul, and most were donating for the first time in this election. The Vice President will today hold her first campaign event in Joe Biden's home state of Delaware, where he remains in COVID isolation at his beach house. A motorcyclist was caught at extreme speed at Whyalla last night. Senior Constable David Backer says he was clocked at 122 k's in a 60 zone on Elliott Street.
Checks revealed the rider was only the holder of a learner's permit. So he's a 17-year-old lad from Whyalla Stewart. He's been reported for aggravated extreme speed. He won't be able to hold a driving permit for 12 months and his motorcycle's been impounded for 28 days.
The head of the cybersecurity company at the centre of Friday's global outage admits they got it very wrong when a faulty update was rolled out to millions of devices. The CrowdStrike outage shut down computers worldwide, crippling businesses and government services. CrowdStrike President Michael Sentonis is apologising to customers and says they are working to fix the issue as quickly as possible.
We deeply apologise. I personally apologise for what happened. We understand the disruption and the distress that we caused a lot of people. And firstly, I think it's important to say we put out an update, which we do regularly and we've been doing for over a decade, and we got this very wrong.
Alice Springs is ranked as the 18th most dangerous city in the world. The Red Centre joins Tijuana in Mexico, Port Moresby in Papua New Guinea, and South Africa's Pretoria. Alice Springs Mayor Matt Patterson says the ranking should be seen as a wake-up call for the rest of the country to understand the pressure the region is under.
It's probably time that everyone actually believes us, that what we're saying is not just glorifying crime, it's actually real and it's what we're living with every day.
Police officers from around the world are being deployed to France to ramp up security at the Olympic Games, including 15 Australian officers. Paris is on track to deliver one of the largest games in history, with almost 9 million tickets sold over the 2 weeks. French Ambassador to Australia Pierre-André Imbert says security remains a top priority.
A delegation from the police of the different countries, including 15 policemen and women from Australia. So I think we'll do our best to be sure that this game will be the best ones and the secure ones.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
Once again, here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Adelaide has backed in its medical staff after the club was named as one of 3 being investigated or issued with a please explain letter for their handling of a head knock incident over the weekend. Captain Jordan Dawson was subbed out of the game on the weekend against Essendon in the final quarter, while Carlton and Brisbane are also in the spotlight for incidents involving Harry Mackay and Harris Andrews, respectively. Meantime, Hawthorn's Nick Watson has been named the Round 19 AFL Rising Star nominee after starring in his side's 66-point win over Collingwood. In just his 11th match, the 19-year-old had 6 score involvements from 12 possessions and booted 3 goals. Watson telling Wide World of Sports coach Sam Mitchell has been helping him with his goal kicking.
He pulled me aside in his office after the game against Richmond where I kicked 4 behinds, and he sort of said, I'm the only one who can tell you how to kick goals. So everyone at Hawthorn knows that it's only Sam that tells me how to kick goals now. And before every session we've been out there early doing routine.
The leader of Australia's Olympic team says she'll be celebrating winners of silver and bronze medals just as much as those who win Olympic gold. Chef de mission Anna Mears is backing the policy of not setting medal targets, saying it reduces pressure and leads to better performance. She says she felt a huge amount of expectation during her cycling career.
My first games I went from loving trying to win to my last games fearing what happened when I didn't. And a lot of that was what you guys were going to write and what those headlines were and what that failure was going to be perceived as. And I came home from my last games with a 6th medal, a bronze medal, and I was actually greeted by people back home saying, oh, we're sorry, we're disappointed you didn't win gold.
And that is the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there at Lonsdale. Multi-car crash on the Southern Expressway near Sullivan's Beach Road. Really nasty delays inbound at the moment. Marion, urgent electricity works. Sturt Road near Marion Road. Getting busy at Port Adelaide. Commercial Road near Charlotten Street and slow. Brighton Road at Glenelg East just near Jetty Road there. Got a camera lookout for 2 Smart Road at Modbury. Heading to Adrian Bryant Automotive for great deals across 5 big brands. Kia, Hyundai, Nissan, Ford and Renault. Adrian Bryant Automotive, South Road, St Mary's. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
18 and mostly sunny today. Tomorrow a late shower or 2, 20. Thursday showers back down to 15 and Friday a shower to 16. Right now it's 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
How far would you go for your dream kitchen? And how far would you go to not deal with organising all the trades? How about 15 minutes up the freeway to Balhanna Kitchens by Design? 2, the largest showroom in the Adelaide Hills. Custom build your dream with our award-winning designers. Plus, we can manage the installation and all sub-trades at a fixed price. Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It's not too far to go to make your dream a reality. balhannakitchens.com.au.
Next time you pour Fluorio milk into your coffee or tea, over your cereal or in your smoothie, you're closer to being an SA dairy farmer than you think. 100% of Fluorio Co milk comes from our state's best dairy farmers and their families. So when you buy any Fluorio milk product, you become part of that big family too, doing your bit to support our farming families. Look for the local in your supermarket. Fluorio Milk Company. We're for SA dairy farmers.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Coming up to 22 minutes to 8. Our jury trial's coming up very shortly. We're going to put a key part of every Olympic Games to the test, to the jury test coming up very, very shortly. But first, let's head to Canberra. Phil Curry, political editor of the Australian Financial Review. Morning to you, Phil.
Yeah, morning, fellas. Welcome back, Dave.
Thanks, Phil. Good to be back. Hey, mate, we were just saying on the cusp of the Paris Games, we were reflecting earlier about your excellent work covering the walking in the year 2000 in Sydney, mate.
Oh, that was the highlight of my... Oh, you were there too.
Yeah, I know.
Allegedly. We turned up for 3 weeks, didn't we?
Oh, no.
We didn't do a lot of work.
But you ended up being in the thick of one of the biggest stories of those games with the red card.
The Jane Savile row, that's right, yeah. I had to chase after that poor old umpire who disqualified her.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
Why'd you do it? It's about the most energy I expended in the whole 3 weeks. It was a terrific time. I thought you would have stayed in Paris, mate. And
yeah, tempting. But yeah, no, it was a terrific story. Very sad though. But you're not going to be heading over on Friday?
No. Even though Channel 9, which is our parent company, they've got the I've got the right. So I didn't make the cut. So
maybe we've got no walkers that are likely to win anything this year. They thought we can't. We'll say Phil. Hey Phil, any part of you wish you were working in the States this past week?
Oh, yeah, in a way, yeah. I mean, it's been a big story. I mean, the last month, really, ever since that debate, where Joe Biden put in that pretty subpar performance at the debate. It's been a real roller coaster over there, hasn't it? I mean, like a bumbling debate performance, an assassination attempt, and now a resignation. It's probably a couple of decades of history all rolled into 1 month. So
yeah.
And I don't think it's over yet, to be honest. It's only July. The election's not till November, and then I think the Democrats now have the microphone for the next month leading up to their convention, as they all suddenly tell us how brilliant Kamala Harris is, even though they've kept her hidden for the last 3 years because she's been so terrible. So it's this is the irony of it all. It's interesting that Barack Obama hasn't come out and endorsed her, because I don't think he thinks she's the right candidate. I mean, she was supposed to be the succession plan to Joe Biden, but it was pretty obvious soon after they got into power that she wasn't very good, and so she's been in witness protection since then. And now suddenly, she's the chosen one. So probably a few more twists and turns left in this yet.
Do you think that the Dems can turn it around, Phil? I mean,
look, I think they can. Well, it depends if they get the candidate right. And look, if Harris sort of surprises everyone and proves to be competent, I just think the news cycle moves so quickly now. That it's only 9 days ago someone tried to. Trump came within two centimetres of being killed on live TV, and it sort of seems like old hat now all of a sudden, and just part of the political debate. And he's had his convention, and he's had his moment where he said God saved him, and he's risen from the dead, and all the hoopla last week, and now that's done. So what's his next trick? I think we sort of quickly go back to the two-horse race about who's better for America, and whether Trump can pull it off a second time, but. The whole strategy changes now, because it was all about, Trump's strategy was about him versus a weak president, an old man. It was all shaped around that. Their whole camp. Now that they'll have to recalibrate the entire campaign against whoever it is and whatever it is the Democrats put up, and you can't go personal on a woman of colour if it is Harris. It just changes the whole dynamic. I mean, in a very, very poor analogy, you remember when Scott Morrison knocked off Malcolm Turnbull, and the Labor Party was had this sort of silver-tail big end of town campaign against Malcolm Turnbull, and then that didn't work against Morrison. You got to change horses. So I think it's I don't think it's over by a long chalk now. I think it could and there's a lot of flaws. Trump's got a lot of flaws, and like he lies a lot, whether you like him or not. He don't. And as I heard someone on radio this morning saying, if you look at his speech last week, I mean, if you talk about Joe Biden being sort of old and doddery and wandering off the script, I mean, listen to Trump for an hour and a half. He's not far behind it. He goes off on these weird tangents, and I think that sort of stuff will start to get highlighted more now that Biden's out of the race.
What do people in Canberra, Phil, say off the record about what the impact of either way the election falls in the US will be on Australia and our part of the world and our relationship and things broader than just AUKUS, which is what I think in recent times we've sort of come to. It comes to be the headline of all that stuff. But there's broader implications for Australia out of this, aren't there?
Oh, there is. And look, everyone worries about Trump. I mean, it's not just us. It's even I was speaking to the Chinese, long ago, and they say the trouble with Trump, you don't know what you're going to get, and that's the problem with Trump. And he will be vindictive if he gets back in there. He's got scores to settle. Where we worry is... Look, it can work or it can't work, but the trouble is you don't know. And where we worry is on his isolationism. He sort of withdraws from the world again, and he withdraws from the region, and that's always dangerous. One of the things Biden did was sort of thoroughly re-engage the US in the region with the whole China problem and everything. And Trump, he withdraws economically on trade and stuff like that. And of course, remember he loves tariffs and protectionism. And we spent a lot of the 4 years when he was last in office trying to stop him putting tariffs on Australian steel and aluminium and things like that. Even though we had a free trade deal, he didn't really seem to care much. So, you've just got to work a lot harder when he's in the White House to just, as I said, he's like the sort of, the sort of the menacing drunk guy in the bar walking around with his beer, and you just got to be nice to him, otherwise he might hit you, no, mate, you're great, really, it's this constant.
I wasn't looking at you.
I was like, no, serious, mate. That was the other bloke. So it's a bit like that, You just got, you saw. I don't know if any of your listeners were watching any of that Republican convention, but Kevin Rudd fawning like nobody's business. Oh no, I've always liked the bloke, because
Does Rudd think people have amnesia? He's just such a chameleon, isn't he?
He's shameless. Hey guys, chill out. But Rudd said a lot of disparaging things about Trump. And he wasn't alone.
He called him a cancer.
All sorts of things, but the trouble is he's now our ambassador over there, and these people have long memories, so there could be a case that they'll have to pull Rudd out of Washington and put in someone else. Although I was speaking to a former very senior member of the former government who said that they might just want to keep Rudd there because he'll be so compliant, because he'll be so willing to please, So it's all these things you shouldn't really have to worry about, but you will have to worry about when you have a volatile president. And it's not just us; every country would be having this same conversation. The British, remember, their ambassador got thrown out by Trump because he put some criticism of Trump in an official diplomatic cable, which got leaked, and he had to go home. So everyone's a bit worried.
Very unpredictable times. Great chat as always, Phil. Phil Curry, the national political editor for the Australian Financial Review. Got a lot of feedback after our chat with Roey's excellent prognostications about the AFL and rules and all the confusion that it's creating and what it means for fans who are feeling jaded. Probably the most indicative is Rick's from Aldinga Beach. Rick writes, "Morning, gents. Thank you for your AFL summation. I thought I was just a grumpy old man. Now I just watch Crows games. The game went away from what we know when umps were mic'd up. Razor Ray made it all about him. Since then, it's been rule changes on the fly." Good on you, Rick.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
So this Friday night Paris time, there's the opening ceremony. It's 7:30 p.m. in France, 3 a.m. Adelaide time on Saturday morning. It'll last more than 3 hours. So if you want to do the whole thing, you've got to be up at 3 a.m. and you'll be sitting there until 6 a.m. We want to put the opening ceremony of Olympic Games to the jury test this morning. The opening ceremony, love it or lame? Love it or lame? Do you watch it each time, or do you just shoulder arms and let it go through to the keeper? 8223 be part of the jury now. Love it or lame opening ceremonies?
I think a lot of people have different views about opening ceremonies versus closing ceremonies. Closing ceremonies are non-event.
Oh, no one watches them.
No, it's just all the athletes waving.
Yeah.
It's for the athletes. It's not for the viewers. But our opening ceremony in the year 2000 was good.
But does everyone feel like that about their own?
Was it Baz Luhrmann who directed it?
Oh, may have been.
From memory, I think it was. Remember all the Hills hoists?
Yes.
And all the Sydney
lawnmowers
Nolan, the Sydney Nolan, Ned Kelly cutouts? It was awesome. Apparently the French one's going to have people dancing, holding baguettes.
Well, the French one is on the river.
Yeah.
It's going to be on the water.
What's it called, the river there?
The Seine?
The Seine.
Yeah, the Seine.
Is that how you pronounce it, Luce? The Seine? S-E-I-N-E.
Yeah, so it's going to be unique and different. I think they're all going to be on barges, and then people are going to be on either bank watching. So that'll be something different. What do you think of opening ceremonies? Do you love them, or are they lame? Are you going to get up and watch it or not? Effectively, 8223 jump on board, be part of the jury. We'll be back in just a moment. Let's check traffic. Thanks to the new Mix Smart Meal from Macca's. 2 burgers, small fries and small soft drinks, $6.95. T's and C's apply.
Thanks, Will. And Lonsdale, multi-car crash on the Southern Expressway near O'Sullivan's Beach Road. Really heavy delays inbound at the moment there. Marion, urgent electricity works, Sturt Road near Marion Road. She's slow going at St Peters for works, Paynham Road near Ann Street. I've got cameras this morning. Blue Street, Ingle Farm and North East Road at Montbury. Beaumont Clearance Centre Richmond, final demolition sale has mosaic sheets priced to clear at up to 90% off at just $3 a sheet. Only at Beaumont's Richmond Clearance Centre. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Catch all the action from the Olympic Games in Paris as 5AA brings you Nine's coverage live from July 27.
Don't miss a minute of the action as our Aussie stars set their sights on gold medal glory. Tune in each evening following Leith Forest as we cross to France for Nine's coverage. Paris 2024 live from July 27 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide tech guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Unfold your story with Galaxy AI on the new Samsung Galaxy Z series. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6 have big battery power for creating and playing. They both feature a slim dynamic screen that flips up or folds out. It has a new hinge, screen, powerful camera and Galaxy AI to drive on-the-fly language translation or edit photos. Pre-order the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6 and Fold 6 before the 31st of July and receive a $400 Harvey Norman gift card and 1 year of Samsung Care Plus valued at $229 via redemption. Prices start from $1,799 for the Samsung Flip and $2,749 for the Fold at Harvey Norman. Terms and conditions apply.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you.
NRG Solar knows that solar isn't just about panels. It's about future-proofing. Start your journey to self-sufficiency today. Be the visionary. Take charge. NRG Solar's new warehouse is fully stocked with a stunning range of wholesale solar and battery equipment. See it for yourself. Discover the power of solar at NRG Solar. Call 1300 858 160 or visit nrgsolar.com.au and make tomorrow brighter. That's nrgsolar.com.au.
What's the quickest and most affordable way to add noticeable value and street appeal to your home? Easy. Fresh Front it. Fresh Front is Adelaide's #1 rated pressure cleaning company, making tired homes and businesses look new again. Pressure and soft washing your entire home, driveway, pavers, retaining walls and windows. Fresh Front do it all with care and expertise, plus a money-back satisfaction guarantee. Ask now for special winter rates. Visit freshfront.com.au. Looks like new.
Beechwood Homes, Adelaide's leading bespoke home builder, celebrates 35 years. Over that time, they've helped many hundreds of people realise their dream of building a home exactly how they envisioned it. That's the wonderful thing about building with Beechwood. There are no set plans, no set rules. It all starts with a pen, paper, and your ideas. Just like it did 35 years ago. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
If you want to watch the opening ceremony this weekend, you're going to be getting up early, or staying up late rather, 3 a.m. on Saturday morning through to about 6 a.m., which makes us ask the broader question. Opening ceremonies, are they lame or do you love them? Love them or lame? Let us know, 8223 A few spots on the jury still available. You can text to as well. Someone said... the opening ceremony sounds like the AFL Grand Final parade of 2022 down the Yarra. Was a debacle. Thank you, Neil. Hopefully it's not like that.
Thanks to Tiffany, too, for clearing it up. It wasn't Baz Luhrmann, as I said. Rick Birch was the director of the 2000 opening and closing ceremonies, but David Atkins was the artistic director.
Juror number 1, love them or lame opening ceremonies?
Lame. Compare it to Ali last night on their piece on Channel 9. Lame. I got more excited watching David Fawcett getting up Penny Wong in the Senate Testament Committee last night after all that.
Thank you, juror number 1.
I think I can guess who juror number 1 was.
Sort of a somewhat familiar voice.
Yeah, I think he's from Blakeview.
Juror number 2, good morning.
Good morning. Lame. I'll be watching Jerry Springer for the next fortnight.
Jerry Springer.
What, so hang on. Well, that sounds like a vote that the whole Olympics is lame. Juror number 2.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
I don't watch it.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I think people say that, but then when it starts, you naturally get into it, particularly with the swimmers. It's always at the start.
8223 double. That's 2 lames. That can't. I can't believe that we don't have any listeners that won't be getting up and watching it.
I think a lot of people.
I think a lot of people. You can listen to it
Or
here on
tape it.
5AA overnight as well if
Yeah.
you're tuned in.
Yep.
You can sync it up with the TV. I mean, it's not going to be like the parochial Rowie version of the call of the opening ceremony, but which would
We
be
should
something.
we should actually get Rowie to do it.
Rowie doing it would be great.
That would be absolutely fantastic.
Calling all the excitement of French culture. Juror number 3, good morning.
Good morning, fellas, from Paris.
From Paris?
You there?
No.
Oh.
I think it is. I love it that it's lame.
Yeah, I agree with that. I reckon every time I watch it, I go, what is this? But I kind of enjoy watching it.
There's been some great moments over the years. What about the Barcelona games?
Was the best.
The Arrow.
The Arrow. But does anyone remember any other moment of the Barcelona opening ceremony other than the Arrow?
That was the games when Grant Hackett won his first medal, wasn't it?
Could have been.
Yeah, no, it definitely was.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the actual opening ceremony. Does anyone have any other memory of it other than the Arrow?
No, but at least you can remember something.
That's
true.
true.
What can you remember? The London opening ceremony was absolutely fantastic
Double-decker
because
buses.
of the Queen.
The Queen.
And James Bond.
That's right.
Remember the video
The Queen.
starring the Queen?
Good point.
Superb.
Juror number 4, good morning.
I'd rather watch paint dry for the opening ceremony, but the other stuff I'd look at.
Okay, thank you, juror number 4. A few Dutton's texts on this as well.
Sharon says, I love them. I watch them to the end, and I eat the cuisine that night of the host country.
That's a great idea.
How about this? I had a barbecue for the Sydney Games. Even remembers the date, 15 of the 9, 2000. When Athens hosted in 2004, had a Greek feast. China for 2008, we had a Chinese banquet when the games were held in Beijing. And this Friday, we're having French cuisine. Delicious. All good. I'm often up at 5 a.m. on a Saturday to watch NBC American TV, so I'll make it an all-nighter. Sharon's got the right idea.
Good on you, Sharon. Rosie says, I always tape if it's in the middle of the night. I enjoy it. Good on you, Rosie.
Yeah.
So I think a pretty even split, albeit on the actual jury. A lot of people think the whole thing's lame.
Hey, here's a question I've got. Have any of our listeners ever been told that they can't, other than the Oval, other than at the Adelaide Oval, where we know that it's now the rule, but have any of our listeners been told at other businesses that they're not allowed to pay with cash? Because there was a situation at on the Run, and none of this is a knock on the Run, because it happened at the same time as the outage last Friday. But there was a woman in Mount Gambier who put $94.40 into a car, and she went in with a $100 bill, and they said, "Oh, we can't actually give you any change. We can't process this transaction. You'll have to come back later." And she said, "Well, I've got the money."
That's weird.
Yeah, and then she said, "I'm happy to leave the money and you keep the change." But they said, "No, we actually can't accept it because the systems weren't working." And she was on her way to some urgent medical appointment. So in the end, she just threw the $100 on the counter and said, "Well, I'm leaving the money. I've got to go." And on the Run, to their credit, they apologised to the woman for the confusion. But it goes to a broader point about the extent to which cash is now so sort of almost a rarity in a lot of places. But I just wonder if people have come up against that mentality where you get some actual money out and people look at you like, "Oh, it's a bit 1970 of you."
Yeah, where is money not accepted? Yeah, you're right. Adelaide Oval. Is it everywhere at Adelaide Oval? Yeah,
I think it is. Didn't they change it last year? You cannot pay cash anywhere.
Where else is like that? 822300000. Lucy's just wandered into the studio. Morning to you, Luce.
Hello, just out for our Southern Expressway commuters. 2 crashes are on the Southern Expressway this morning. One is just before the Moores Road exit there in Ranella. The other one's just before the O'Sullivan's Beach Road. So we've been talking about it this morning, but now there's 2 crashes on the Southern Expressway holding up delays. Advice is if you can get off the Southern Expressway before the O'Sullivan's Beach Road exit, that's the way to go.
All right.
Good advice, Luce.
Good advice.
Très
Thank you.
bien.
That makes sense of all that's been happening there. All right. It's
got a text here. Apparently the Elizabeth Shopping Centre has some stores that don't take cash.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
How interesting. All right. We'll compile a bit of a list, see if there's anything that sort of strings them together, similar types of businesses or in locations. We'll sort that out. 8223000 the number, or Dutton's text line. Discover the new hybrid Tucson SUV. Dutton's Hyundai Murray Bridge. Dutton's, easy to do business with.
When you're gone, who gets the things most precious to you? Like your highly valued comic book collection,
or your 1976 Torana in mint condition. If you don't have a will, you'll never know. Donlan Lawyers specialise in wills and estate planning. From the simplest to the most complex, Donlan Lawyers will give effect to your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com, Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Companies and small business that use one solution for their IT management, cybersecurity and AI implementation are always ahead of the curve and ready for anything. One Solution is local too, a full-service technology company right here in Adelaide, offering a diverse range of solutions across IT, telecommunications, phone and mobile systems, cybersecurity and AI. Today, more than ever, it's important to safeguard your business. Do it with One Solution. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
G'day everyone, Cornsey here. Now I know a great team and I see one, and the South Australian hydraulic team I rate the highest is BL Shipway. The Shipway team are the best in the business. They've been looking after your hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953 with brands like Ryco, Rexroth, Enerpac, Hydac, Oilpath, EasyFit and many more. If you can't get to them, they'll send a Ryco 24/7 van to you anytime, anywhere. blshipway.com.au, a South Australian team you can count on.
At Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, we've launched out of the starting blocks and we're flying down the track with our huge demo clearance. All demos are going to race out the door, like Demo T-Rocks from only $35,990 drive away. We're first for easy on-site finance options and top of the podium for convenient next-day servicing with complimentary loan vehicles. Get in first for Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's huge demo clearance. Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city. Rego S22 3CYX.
Up-to-the-minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny at 18 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Graham Goodings.
Make RAA-approved windscreen repairer, Complete Windscreens, your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
US President Joe Biden has spoken publicly for the first time since announcing his withdrawal from the election. President Biden has phoned into Kamala Harris's campaign headquarters in Delaware, where the Vice President is right now addressing her supporters.
We're going to be working like hell, both as a sitting president, getting legislation passed, as well as in campaigning. You know, what we still need to save this democracy. And Trump is still a danger to the community, he's a danger to the nation.
More than $81 million has been donated to the Harris campaign since President Biden's announcement, a figure officials say is the largest amount raised for any US presidential candidate in 24 hours. Police in Paris are reportedly investigating claims an Australian woman was gang raped in the French capital. Local media outlets report the 25-year-old was found in distress outside a kebab shop and told staff and officers she'd been assaulted by as many as 5 men. A high-range drink driver has been caught at Durnan Court this morning. Senior Constable David Backer says the 49-year-old man was pulled over on Lower North East Road just after 2 a.m.
He's returned a positive reading of 0.240, so nearly 5 times the legal limit. He's been reported for high-range drink driving. He's lost his licence for 12 months and his car's been impounded, and he'll be facing court in the future as well.
The grim rental market in Adelaide is still tight, although it has eased slightly. PropTrack says just over 1% of houses up for rent are vacant and about 2% of units are vacant. Adelaide experienced an increase in rental supplies, with the median rent for Adelaide in the June quarter rising to $570. Report author Cameron Cusher says more homes need to be built to relieve the market pressure, but that won't happen quick enough while interest rates remain high.
Interest rates are the highest they've been in 12 years, so that's making it very hard to make new development and new construction stack up. It's getting harder to get the level of pre-sales you need. It's getting harder to access finance, so it's probably unlikely to see a significant improvement in new housing construction until such time as we start seeing interest rates moving lower.
Meantime, state government-led housing projects will be streamlined to help overcome the housing crisis. Housing Minister Nick Champion says at least 10 construction companies will join a pre-approved shortlist of builders to work on government developments across metropolitan Adelaide.
One of the things we're doing now is putting in a new builders panel, which enables government-led projects to start quicker. And that's a really important initiative out of the Premier's housing roadmap, and another example of how we're pulling every lever to get people into new homes. So these projects will reduce red tape, both for builders and for government, and allow us to begin builds far quicker.
And now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
And now here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Port Adelaide's players will train tonight as they prepare for Friday night's huge clash against Carlton at Marvel Stadium. The Power are a chance to bring back forward Todd Marshall into the side after he missed last week with a hip injury, while defender Lockie Jones is also in line to return after missing last week with concussion. Assistant coach Josh Carr telling Rowie and Treaders he's on track to come back.
Yeah, so far he's ticked all the boxes. Still got a couple more boxes to tick with training and the protocols that we take care of. So again, until we tick those boxes, it's not 100% whether he comes in or not.
The Crows will also train this morning, but will be without Jordan Dawson for Sunday's match against Hawthorn at home, with the captain set to miss through concussion himself, while Jordan Butts is out with a foot issue. Meantime, Sydney is counting the cost of Sunday's narrow 2-point loss to Brisbane. The club confirming forward Todd Papley will be out for up to 6 weeks. Will Hayward's in doubt for this week with an ankle sprain, while defender Dane Rampey will be assessed today, suffering calf tightness. Well, the excitement is continuing to build in Paris ahead of the Olympics. The action begins tomorrow night with men's football getting underway. The men's basketball team has received good news. Dante Exum cleared of a fractured finger. And hope remains that Alex de Minaur will compete in tennis. He's confirmed he is heading to Paris despite carrying a hip injury picked up at Wimbledon. Meantime, LeBron James has been named flag bearer for the United States. Aussie golfer Adam Scott's top 10 finish at the British Open has put him in line for a call-up to the President's Cup. He's joined Jason Day in moving into the automatic qualifying spots for the international team to face the USA in Montreal in September. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Lonsdale, multi-car crash on the Southern Expressway near O'Sullivan's Beach Road. Awful delays inbound at the moment. Try Main South Road to Lonsdale Road if you can, but still even there a bit sluggish. Marion, urgent electricity works, Dirt Road near Marion Road. Getting busy at St Peters for works, Paynham Road near Ann Street, and an early morning camera, Gorge Road at Athelston. What's for dinner? How about a Porto's whole chicken feed? Whole flame grilled chicken, 2 pita bread, 2 dipping sauces and choice of share side. Just $28.95 at a Porto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Mostly sunny at 18 today. Tomorrow a late shower to 20. Thursday showers 15. Friday a shower to 16. Currently it's 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 minutes after 8, we are getting a slew of texts from people on the Duttons text line. Discover the new hybrid-powered Tucson SUV, Duttons Hyundai Murray Bridge. Duttons easy to do business with on places that no longer accept cash.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I thought there'd be something in this.
Yeah, there's a lot coming through right now.
One here, a house homeware store, Tea Tree Plaza. We tried to buy with cash, told that we didn't accept it, so we just left the items on the counter and walked out. One here, talking about cash. I went to a Chinese restaurant. When I went to pay the bill because I paid in cash, they gave me $17 off. There's an incentive.
Well, that's not bad.
Apparently Her Majesty's Theatre is cash-free. And also the Home Ground restaurant on the River Torrens at the Adelaide Convention Centre won't accept cash.
So there's more out there.
It's getting to the point. You know what drives me mad? QR codes on restaurant tables.
Oh, that's become all the thing.
Well, I don't want to download anything. I'm there to relax. I don't want to use. You use a computer when you're working. That's the way my mind works.
It's only a certain tier of restaurant. It seems to be now. It's almost becoming, which this goes to your point, a prestige thing to have a waiter. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Like that's the way it's trending. It'll be, this is a fancy restaurant because you get you've got an actual human waiter there. Someone made a good point, and I think Trevor Long said this to us yesterday, because a lot of people have said, well, computers go down like the other day. What happens in the absence of cash? Well, even places that did have cash weren't accepting transactions because it's all recorded by the computer.
Yeah, that's right.
You need to scan the barcode. The logging system works with the computer. Like, the whole thing is so integrated now. It's not even the cash component.
That's crazy.
That renders things able to operate.
Bloody man.
All right, it's time for Breaking Up.
Well, John Setka might be gone as the head of the construction division of the CFMEU, but the key question here in South Australia is to what extent is the influence of his militant Victorian allies still being felt in local construction? Well, it's a question that we're going to explore this morning with a man who's got some pretty intense first-hand experience of the conduct and behaviour of John Setka. Aaron Cartledge spent 18 years at the CFMEU here in South Australia, a proud unionist. He spent six years as the secretary of the state CFMEU until he was effectively ousted by Setka and his Victorian cronies in the lead up to 2018. And Aaron has very kindly joined us in the studio here this morning for Breaking at 8. Aaron, it's great to see you, mate. We've spoken quite a bit over the last few years, worked on a few stories together about the manner in which Setka led that big and brutal push against you. Can we just sort of start by winding back to that? One of the best quotes anyone has ever given me for a story was you. And it was the first time we spoke for that first piece we did in The Australian, where you compared the Victorians arriving here in South Australia. You said it was like a cross between Blazing Saddles and an end-of-year footy trip.
Yeah, good morning, Dave. Good morning, Will, and morning to your listeners. Yeah, that's how it felt to me at the time. As a young secretary, you put a lot of faith into your union and your national officials that when they say they're going to offer assistance and come and resource your branch and assist you in building a better branch, that's what at face value you take that they're going to do. But what I seen and what my officials seen, it was that it was nothing of the sort. It was a manufactured crisis to basically run the branch into disrepair and then effectively take it over.
And it was really, in Setka style, it was incredibly abusive. There were emails, effing this and see what that, like it was really full on and personal, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. When you went to any national meeting, you really copped a serve from John. He didn't hold back about the branch and about the officials in the branch and the way that we conducted ourselves on South Australian building sites.
The thing though, and I think this is a really important, you as a proud South Aussie with a union background, I've always said, was there were times when you were secretary, you would have blues with builders, but generally the approach was more collaborative, wasn't it? It was like, as South Australia in a smaller economy with no history of mass sort of strike action or bloody-minded sort of standover tactics or anything, it was, you led a more consultative union than what we're seeing out of Victoria.
I think that's part of what we are as South Australians. We are very different than Victoria. We have different history right from our foundation. We've got a very different economy. Unless you were born here in South Australia, unless you understand the industry that you grow up in, all my family are in the building industry, and the economic responsibility that comes with your role as the peak union in construction, you cannot actually do the job properly for South Australians. And that was my point to John. You don't understand South Australia. I never try to understand Victoria, but I understand here that we have a very small economy, that we have to work with other unions that have demarcation disputes and that can't get along in Victoria. I was able to work very constructive with other unions, with employer associations, with governments to deliver the right mechanisms and the right outcomes for a prosperous South Australia. And that's what it was about. In an industry that had lots of peaks and troughs, it was a real struggle for building companies to continue to keep working year in, year out, to train workers, retain workers. All those things you really had to have an in-depth understanding, and that's why there is a real importance through this administration process with the federal government, have the CFMEU, and that our state Labor government lobby very hard and explore every option to split the South Australian branch away again from Victoria so that South Australian members can elect their own secretary.
Yeah, completely.
Do you have any concerns that some of the criminal association that was alleged across the border has made its way into South Australia?
No, I don't. South Australia, myself, my predecessors, other unions have worked very hard, and that is the benefit of a small industry as well. We have had the finger on the pulse. Those elements were not here. I think it's concerning what those reports were interstate. I think most building workers would be concerned about that. My greater concern is South Australian companies missing out on these boom of infrastructure work. There is billions and billions of major infrastructure work coming in the next decade. A lot of that being completed by major constructors that are influenced outside of South Australia by vested interests. It is only South Australian companies on those projects that will train South Australian workers, retain South Australian workers so that they flow back through the economy into other areas. And local leadership needs to be able to have the autonomy to make those hard decisions about agreements, about structures, about procurement methods, lobby government to continue to put South Australian companies first on these major constructed jobs.
And to the point you were alluding to before, Aaron, is your concern that even though John Setka as an individual might be gone, we now have a problem in South Australia where constitutionally the union is now structured so that South Australia is run out of Victoria?
Absolutely. There is no secretary in South Australia.
Yeah, totally.
So there's only an assistant secretary. So ultimately every decision, final decision, comes out of Melbourne, and vested interests for Melbourne companies and Melbourne funds become the preference to South Australian companies and funds. And that's my big concern, is that we as a state could miss out on the training that we need, on the work that we need, and South Australian companies getting the prosperity that comes from these infrastructure projects.
Absolutely. Just finally, given your history with the bloke, how'd you feel when you heard the news the other day?
Oh, look, it both a bit of a smile, but also sad for what is a great union. There is many good CFMEU members out there.
100%.
Every day are the men and women that work on building sites that would have been oblivious to this sort of behaviour and just want to go to work and have a safe workplace. And the CFMEU and other building unions have done a lot of good work in the industry over many years. So it's mixed emotions, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Aaron, great to catch up with you again, and thank you very much for coming to the studio today for Breaking at 8.
No worries, I appreciate your time. Thanks very much.
Just got another traffic issue that we've started to get word filtered through regarding. Delays city-bound on Paynham Road. Just before you get to OG Road, a bus has broken down the left-hand lane, and that's causing some delays. Very busy, we're being told by listeners. Thank you for that intel. We always appreciate it on 8223 0000 or indeed the Duttons text line. Let's check traffic, come back with more in a moment, including we've got 2 pairs of nuggies to give away. What would you like to give the boot to? You can get calling now, 8223 0055. The new McSmart meal from Macca's, 2 burgers, small fries and small soft drinks, $6.95. T's and C's apply.
Thanks, Will. At Lonsdale, 2 collisions on the Southern Expressway near O'Sullivan's Beach Road causing awful delays inbound. Real Dog's Breakfast there. Try Main South Road or Lonsdale Road instead. Marion, urgent electricity works, Dirt Road near Marion Road, and slow for works at Port Adelaide to Commercial Road near Charlton Street. Early morning camera, Marion Road at Glyn. People will buy whatever tyre name they remember, like my car, Avandra. Avandra, Avandra, Avandra. My car, people first, Avandra. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
Port are 7th with 11 wins. Here's Ken.
I think each team that's in our position would think they've got some upside. We believe we've got some upside.
Current Friday night at Marvel, Sydney at home, Melbourne the MCG, Crows at home, Fremantle away. That is as good a lineup as you want in the final.
The 5AA Sports Show.
This is the time to test whether you're good enough or not.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Don't just get a forklift. Get a Toyota forklift.
Deliver more with Toyota, the world's #1 forklift brand. Choose from a great range including pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts, right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Get a Toyota forklift.
Have you seen the stunning new sign at NRG Solar's relocated office in St Mary's? It's not just a sign, it's a beacon of sustainability. As leaders in solar solutions, NRG Solar's commitment to innovation shines bright. Their new warehouse is fully stocked with a stunning range of wholesale solar and battery equipment. See it for yourself, 1275 South Road St Mary's, or visit nrgsolar.com.au for a sustainable future. That's nrgsolar.com.au.
Since Freshfront have been in business, they've collected 541 Google reviews. 524 are 5-star, 15 are 4-star, and 2 1-star. One of which was fake, and the other, well, that was me. However, I'm revoking my 1-star and submitting 5 stars. Freshfront are experts in exterior home cleaning and a wee bit of conflict resolution. Get a free, no-obligation quote. freshfront.com.au.
It all started with a pen and paper 35 years ago. Lots of ideas and a ton of innovation. Nothing's changed. Beechwood Homes is still building stunning bespoke homes right across South Australia. Under construction right now is another Beechwood Homes masterpiece at Blackwood Park. This new display home will showcase Beechwood's dedication to cutting-edge design, craftsmanship and innovation. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Know the news with Adelaide's 7 News. Don't miss Adelaide's leading news hour tonight at 6 o'clock.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
20 minutes after 8, we've got 2 pairs of nuggies to give away. If you don't know what that is, picture an Ugg boot, picture a chicken nugget. Bam, nuggies.
That's what the geniuses at McDonald's did.
That's what they do. That's why McDonald's big. That's why McDonald's are who they are. They're one of the biggest, most successful, and brilliant companies on earth.
I hear they have taken up our idea that we were speculating on air yesterday. What other items of clothing could be merged with a McNugget, and they are thinking about the negligee.
The negligee, I think it's thrilling.
Not just chicken nugget coloured negligee, but chicken nugget scented.
Now, I mean, it would look. Let 1,000 flowers bloom. They're officially back, Nuggies. The delectable, cosy winter boots designed to look like the Macca's iconic chicken nuggets. 82230055 is the number. If you want a pair of Nuggies, we got 2 to give away. We're going to do it right here and right now. Just tell us what you want to give the boot to. You can give the boot to absolutely anything. We had some good suggestions yesterday.
A lot of people want to give the boot to the cashless society.
Yeah, well, a lot of people seem to be giving the boot to businesses that have told them they're cashless.
Samantha makes a really good point. She says, we stayed at Crown Plaza on the weekend and ate at Camu restaurant. The whole complex is cashless. But here's the thing, for every transaction, there's a 1.8% merchant fee. Now, I don't reckon businesses should be allowed to have it both ways. If you're going to say we don't take cash, that's fine.
Yep.
So if you put all your infrastructure and your technology into what is overwhelmingly the payment method of choice for 95% probably of the population now, that's fine. But to say that as part of the, part of the service though, part of the hassle for us is in charging you, we're going to pass this on. Well,
part of that, I think, to give the merchants some defence is the banks, I think, charge a processing fee. Which I think is where
why do the bloody banks
which
charge
is, I
it?
think this is where this needs to be changed by law. And this is crazy. Banks put it is ridiculous. There's nothing labour intensive about processing an electronic transaction in 2024.
It's what they do.
It's the easiest way for them to process transactions.
Paying someone $50 to mow your lawn, and they say, "Oh, it's actually going to be $51.30 because there's a $1.30 me turning up with a lawnmower fee." You actually just mowing the lawn is your job.
I actually think that's how the Victorian CFMEU works, doesn't it? Sort of that similar tactic.
That's right. They would come around, mow your lawn, and kick your leprechaun in the balls on the way out.
Reno in Torrensville, what do you want to give the boot to?
Morning, Will. Dave, welcome back.
Thank you, mate.
The AFL Judiciary system.
Yes.
Give that a great big boot.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Yeah, I agree.
We talk enough
What do you
about the
reckon?
mainstream judiciary. They're nothing compared to the AFL judiciary.
I want to see a pie chart of how much time is spent on footy media talking about games of football versus the AFL tribunal.
This is it. This is totally it. And this is why I mentioned the Euros, because like the whole conversation of the Euros was about the kids playing for Spain, about Nico Williams, about Bellingham's goal,
You mean
30
Lamal.
seconds to go against Slovakia. Like that was everything was about the quality of the game.
Well, you know what I think the secret is? In every other sporting code in the world, people talk about the sport. It's the AFL. There's this over-governed bureaucratic mess that forces the conversation to be about what's happening off the field so often.
Completely.
But maybe that fits in perfectly with the rest of Australia. Pete and Findon, good morning.
Hey boys, how are you?
Good, thank you, Pete.
I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy, but I'm done with this cold weather. Bring on summer.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%.
Give the boot to the cold weather.
Yeah.
It's not
absolutely.
Get the tomatoes in. You know, none of this winter.
I don't think it's not going. Unfortunately, it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere anytime soon.
I thought we're meant to be in the midst of global warming.
That's been a rip-off. 822 30055. I think
things they don't say on the ABC. Let's have a bit more of that global warming, thank you. Although it is nuggy weather, isn't it? So
totally,
you can face the
fight
elements
back against the failure of global warming with a nuggy.
That's right. I'm holding them up for the benefit of the live stream. They've even got the Macca's livery on the back. It's terrific, isn't it?
It is. It's just superb. And Reno in Torrensville and Pete in Findon, you both have a pair of nuggies coming your way. How about that?
Imagine. Who is it in Findon? Pete. Yeah, imagine Pete rocking up the front bar of the Findon Hotel wearing these.
Pair of nuggies.
Yeah, it'll be the talk of Findon.
It'll be like the old West scene where the music stops playing and everyone
Yeah,
turns.
they just turn. Saw the Hoodoo Gurus play at the Findon Hotel in 1985.
Is that right?
Oh, it's such a good gig. It's the same night as Live Aid. Was it 84 or 85? It was definitely the same night as Live Aid.
Live music was just so much more widespread once upon a time, wasn't it? Like now there are live music venues. Once upon a time, everything was sort of at some time or another a live music venue.
We get a bit misty-eyed thinking about it, but, you know, Lenny's Tavern, down my neck of the woods, the Holdie used to be a great place to see bands out there in the beer garden. That was like all the southern bands, like Where's the Pope and the rest of them were all down there all the time. It was mental on a Sunday afternoon down there.
Daniel and Ross Trevor's called into the program. Morning to you, Daniel.
Oh, good morning, guys. Had the joy of going to La Boca restaurant, had a really nice meal there, went to pay, and then was confronted with, we don't accept cash here. Oh, and by the way, because we don't accept cash, we're also going to charge you a processing fee for your Visa or debit transaction.
See, that should be illegal. I think that could be changed with the stroke of a pen. That's ridiculous. Thank you, Daniel.
Now, I'm only reading this out, Chris, because you're from Elizabeth. Chris from Elizabeth says, Will and Dave, there's no cash at the Elizabeth Shopping Centre because you just go and take whatever you want. You can't say that about your own suburb, mate. He did end with lots of laughing emojis. Good on you, Chris. Let's send Chris a 5AA freaky mug.
Maybe.
What a terrible besmirchment of a wonderful part of South Australia. The Queen went there. They named it after the Queen.
Yes. Poor Lizzie, what would she think of that text?
Shaking her head in disbelief.
Yeah, she would be. All right.
She made it out with a handbag intact after she inspected the Holden plant with Sir Thomas Playford.
You wouldn't dare go near a handbag. She'd belt you over the head with it.
She would.
5AA News is coming up. We're off to the US very, very shortly. Keep those texts coming in, and we may or may not decide to read them out. But this morning I've got a feeling we probably will. 5AA News time.
Catch all the action from the Olympic Games in Paris as 5AA brings you Nine's coverage live from July 27. Don't miss a minute of the action as our Aussie stars set their sights on gold medal glory. Tune in each evening following Leith Forest as we cross to France for Nine's coverage. Paris 2024 live from July 27 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
The biggest threat to your business isn't your competition. It's cybercrime. Cybercrime threats impacting Australian businesses large and small continues to grow year on year. One call to one solution will put your business in a safe place and save you from the devastating consequences of cybercrime. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Stay safe and protected. Get in touch with One Solution. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. For fixed price services, call Precise.
For a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
I'll grab a few people I know. We'll mark out some places to go. There's no invitation, just a destination, and that's the best freedom I know. Jump in the Jayco. Jump in the Jayco. Yeah, that's the best freedom I know.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. Do you know how much that old fridge in the shed is adding to your electricity bill? Your energy saving solutions can collect your old inefficient fridges and freezers for free, and the best part is that you can also get up to $150 per unit. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from Your Energy Saving Solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
At MYOB, we're the OG at making tax time easy. From automating admin to pinging payment reminders for you, MYOB has everything in one place to make sure you're always ready. Because nothing beats the OG at tax time.
The origin of all life remains a mystery. Who are we? Where do we come from? Where are we going? But who really cares? When babies look so cute in Bond's infant wonder suits from Aldi, only $13.99 each for a range of styles. Cotton rich and stretchy, it's special you can buy at the Aldi Baby Accessory Sale this Wednesday. Aldi, good different.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny at 18 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
Kamala Harris has delivered her first campaign event attacking Donald Trump, and for the first time in days, the world heard from Joe Biden. US correspondent Jonathan Kersley has more.
President Joe Biden dialed in via phone saying while the name at the top of the ticket had changed, the mission had not, and democracy needed to be saved. The woman he endorsed, Kamala Harris, walked into a raucous reception before delivering a stinging attack on Donald Trump.
In those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Fraudsters who ripped off consumers. Cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
Donald Trump issued a personal attack against Kamala Harris in the New York Post, saying she is vicious and dumb. It's a surefire sign this campaign will be deeply personal.
Alice Springs is ranked as the 18th most dangerous city in the world. The Red Centre joins Tijuana in Mexico, Port Moresby in Papua New Guinea, and South Africa's Pretoria. Alice Springs Mayor Matt Patterson says the ranking should be seen as a wake-up call for the rest of the country to understand the pressure the region is under.
It's probably time that everyone actually believes us, that what we're saying is not just glorifying crime, it's actually real and it's what we're living with every day.
A high-range drink driver was caught at Durnan Court this morning. Police pulled over a blue BMW on Lower North East Road just after 2 a.m. The 49-year-old driver blew .240, almost 5 times the legal limit. He's been reported for drink driving and lost his licence on the spot for 12 months. His car was also impounded for 28 days. A motorcyclist was caught at extreme speed at Whyalla last night. Senior Constable David Backer says he was clocked at 122 k's in a 60 zone on Elliott Street.
Checks revealed the rider was only the holder of a learner's permit. So he's a 17-year-old lad from Whyalla Stewart. He's been reported for aggravated extreme speed. He won't be able to hold a driving permit for 12 months and his motorcycle's been impounded for 28 days.
Efforts are underway to help better protect older Australians from RSV. Cases of the respiratory virus are on the rise, but a survey shows less than 1 in 2 people over the age of 60 are aware of the common illness. A campaign is being launched to help the age group understand potential risks associated with the disease. Exercise is improving the mental well-being of Australians dealing with osteoarthritis. Researchers have looked into the benefits of exercise in managing symptoms of depression. Up to 20% of people dealing with the intense pain report feeling down. Victoria University clinical exercise physiologist Professor Itamar Ivlivga says those with the highest level of pain experience the greatest benefits.
Some people have a concern that if they will do any level of physical activity, the pain will be more severe and they actually will do more damage. And this is not accurate. People should do physical activity despite the pain.
The last surviving original member of the Four Tops, Abdul Duke Fakir, has died at his home in Detroit. He'd suffered heart failure and was 88 years of age. His family was by his side. The Four Tops were one of Motown's most enduring acts. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
Time for sport. Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Gee, what great music that was. Let's start with footy. Adelaide has backed its medical staff after the club was named as one of 3 being issued with a please explain letter for their handling of head knocks over the weekend. Captain Jordan Dawson was subbed out of the game in the final term, while Carlton and Brisbane are also in the spotlight for separate incidents involving Harry Mackay and Harris Andrews, respectively. Still on footy, Essendon great Matthew Lloyd says the coming month will speak volumes about whether the Bombers have truly improved in 2024. After a strong start to the season, Essendon is now clinging onto their position in the top 8 after losing 5 of their last 7 games. Lloyd has told Wide World of Sports while there's still some time for the Bombers to turn their fortunes around, they have a lot of improving to do.
Yeah, we'll find out if they're leaps and bounds ahead of last year by how the next 5 weeks goes. You don't think they are? You're not convinced? Well, I would have said yes, but not if they fall in a heap again. So what has changed? What has improved? As a team, they won't have improved if they fall in a heap again and finish 9th.
The Adelaide Thunderbirds will enjoy a week off as they now await to see who they'll play in next week's grand final. The T-Birds smashed the Melbourne Vixens by 25 goals in last week's qualifying final and will either meet them in the season decider or the West Coast Fever. South Aussie Georgie Horges telling Rowie and Treaders they'll watch this week's match together and they're not too bothered who they play.
I think both teams will be hard to play and they both have their different strengths, so yeah, either team that will play up will do a bit of different analysis against them, and yeah, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, we'll all watch that game together this weekend, which should be good.
Yeah, can't wait for that one. And Australia's Alex de Minaur has confirmed he will play at the Olympics after overcoming a hip injury, while LeBron James has been named flag bearer for the United States at the upcoming Games. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now checking 5AA traffic.
G'day there. 2 collisions on the Southern Expressway or O'Sullivan's Beach Road causing awful delays inbound. Try Main South Road to Lonsdale Road to avoid those. Hampstead Gardens, 3-car collision with fuel on the road, North East Road near Ways Road, and Marion urgent electricity works on Sturt Road near Marion Road. Got a Canberra 2 North East Road at Modbury. The Woolworths online super sale is on now, up to 50% off new products every week until August 6. Shop woolworths.com.au. Exclusions and T's and C's apply while stocks last. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Mostly sunny at 18 today. Tomorrow a late shower or 2 and 20 degrees. Thursday cooling down to 15 with showers. Friday a shower 2 and 16. Currently it's 12. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 to 9, pick your timeline. But whether you say it's been an extraordinary month or a remarkable week, it's been a historic period of US politics. And with every passing 24 hours, a new story develops, but we wanted the best analysis that we could bring you as to what's happening stateside. Obviously, all these things affect Australia, either directly or indirectly. Charles Kupchan is a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations and was, from 2014 to 17, a special assistant to the President and Senior Director for European Affairs on the staff of the National Security Council in the Obama administration. He was also the Director of European Affairs on the Council during the first Clinton administration. Has spent a lot of time working with Democrat presidents. Charles Kupchan, good morning to you and welcome to 5AA Breakfast in Adelaide, Australia.
Nice to be with you.
Charles, there's obviously been a lot of external noise and commotion around the Democrats. Do you think that the party has time to sort of settle the horses ahead of the presidential elections in November?
Well, I do think that the timing issue is important because we're talking about 100 days to go up against a pretty formidable Republican ticket. I think one of the reasons that Biden immediately said, I'm passing the baton to Kamala Harris, one of the reasons that many, many Democrats are getting behind Kamala Harris very quickly is because they need to solidify the ticket sooner rather than later. They need to have a team in place. They need to hit the ground running. They need to get out there on the campaign trail because the clock is ticking. So I think the party is moving about as quickly as it can, and I think you'll see things solidify in the days ahead behind Kamala Harris.
Do you think that her candidacy will force the former President Trump to change his tactics in a major way? Does he have to be less belligerent, less combative, going up against a woman, indeed a woman of colour, whereas against Biden he could basically run sort of endless shtick gags about Biden's doddery demeanour and cognitive challenges?
You know, I wish I could say yes, but no. Trump is Trump, and I think he's going to actually double down on the pretty nasty rhetoric. We saw J.D. Vance this afternoon in a public appearance say that Kamala Harris doesn't like her country. What's he really doing there? That's a dog whistle for questioning her race, for questioning her gender. I think the Republicans are going to go low and play dirty because they're dealing with someone who's not a white man. I don't relish that prospect, but that would be my best guess.
Charles, in a policy sense or a policy priority sense, do you think there's any substantial difference in the next 4 years of what a Kamala Harris presidency would look like as opposed to what another 4 years of Joe Biden would have looked like?
That's a difficult question because we don't know that much about Kamala Harris's instincts on foreign policy. She has been out there doing the bidding of the administration. She's been the diplomat on the stage when Biden has been unable to attend key meetings. You know, I would say that given her background, given her age, given that she represents a generation that has really come of age at a time very different from Biden, I think you will see more of a focus on the domestic front. I think there has to be more of a focus on domestic front. I mean, one of the things that we're seeing here is that, you know, Biden said he wanted to heal the soul of America, but this country is divided as it's ever been. And so I think she will manage the international agenda, keep the United States engaged abroad, lead abroad in ways that the Republicans won't do. But I do think she'll really try to lean into the domestic agenda because that's the best way to repair the country.
Talking about the divisions in the US, Charles, and obviously you played a senior role in the Obama administration. I remember when Obama defeated George W. Bush, and there was that very sort of collegiate and warm changeover where George W. Bush and his wife showed Barack and Michelle Obama around the White House, and from what I can gather, they actually still to this day seem to be quite close friends despite their political and ideological differences. Does it feel, and this isn't even really a political question, it's more of a personal sort of familial and friendship question, does it feel to you as an American now that even talking about politics with members of your own family and friends can be fraught with danger because things are so polarised that you'll end up destroying relationships if you say, I like Trump or I hate Trump?
Yeah. To put it quickly and bluntly, I would go so far as to say that sometimes I wake up in the morning and I don't recognize the country that I'm living in. You know, I was born and raised in Wisconsin, out there in the middle of the country under Canada, lots of cows and lots of corn. It was about as peaceable a place as you can imagine. It's not that way anymore. It's deeply divided between red and blue. And in my mind, the fundamental problem here is the economy, that for many working Americans, particularly those without a college education, it's become very hard to make ends meet. Yeah. They have a hard time putting food on the table. And until we crack that nut, until we get working Americans back up on their feet, I think you're going to see these divisions. But it has led to a distinct erosion in political civility. You can feel the tension, not just across political lines, but across ethnic and religious lines. That's very serious. It's something we need to address urgently.
We appreciate your time this morning, Charles. Charles A. Kupchan there, who served in both the Obama and the Clinton
administration. Both of those.
Yeah. It's great getting these insights direct from.
A few people have said, "Well, why are you speaking to all these Democrats?" Well, because the Democrat Party's in crisis. That's why.
They're the story at the moment. Right. So
yeah, that's the.
This isn't the McNeil-Lehrer news hour. And we'll be talking to Republicans too.
Yeah, exactly right. But at the moment, that's the focus, because these are untested times where there could be an open convention, that could be that we've got a president resigning this late in the process. This is all unique. So the interest and insight is in how does this part of American politics handle it. Generalised discussion about the election has to be on hold until they have a candidate.
So we can discuss this with an air of detachment, but. As an American, it was a sad answer Charles gave.
Wasn't it?
Imagine living in a place where you can't bump into your cousin and say, "Oh, yeah, gee, sad what happened to Trump last week," and then someone says, "A la, Jack Black makes some
Kyle,
shocking joke about it." Next thing you know, you never talk to a member of your own family again.
It's crazy. It is sad. You're right. Let's check traffic. The new McSmart meal from Mac is 2 burgers, small fries, and small soft drink, $6.95. T's and C's apply.
Thanks, Will. At Lonsdale, delays clearing after an accident on the Southern Expressway near O'Sullivan's Beach Road as you're heading inbound. Hampstead Gardens, 3-car collision with fuel on the road, North East Road near Wades Road, and Port Adelaide, another smash. This one's on Port Road near Grand Junction Road. Cameras this morning, Adelaide Road, Gawler South, and Smart Road at Modbury. Swimming with luminescent cuttlefish or stargazing in the darkest skies? Winter our way with a last-minute getaway. Visit southaustralia.com/holiday-deals. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now, let's see what's in the swear jar at By Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens. Oh, wrong swear jar. This is it. From Martin the Tiler, affectionately known as Millimeter Martin. He swears you'll love his millimeter-perfect craftsmanship. And here's one from Rick the Plumber. Rick swears to always clean up after himself, guaranteed. For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see By Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
City Discount Tires.
Get saving now with City Discount Tires. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tires, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for four-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttires.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires.
The Posture Care Chair Company has moved to a new home at 107 Sturt Street between King William Street and Whitmore Square. Discover our tailor-made chairs crafted right here in Adelaide with our patented zero-gravity design. And say goodbye to all comfort complaints. Celebrate our grand opening with us and save up to $1,000 on your brand new tailor-made recliner chair, plus complimentary express build, plus free delivery. Come on in and visit our new place, the Posture Care Chair Company. T's and C's apply.
Drums, please. Unprecedented, unparalleled, unrivaled. For the very first time, Edwardstown Mazda is offering discounts greater than 10% on all Mazda demonstrator models. Every demo, every model with a minimum discount of 10%. Plus a minimum trade-in of $2,000 on your old vehicle. This offer is exclusive to Edwardstown Mazda.
It's gotta be
Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Well, for those of our listeners who like the true crime genre, there's a new local entry hosted by a name and a face that'll be familiar to many South Australians, Ben Avery from 9 News. It's called Just Married, the Anthea Bradshaw mystery. Ben and Anthea's brother Craig join us in the 5AA Breakfast studio. Good morning to you both.
Morning, guys. I was just saying to you both off air, Ben and Craig, that I have a real-time memory of this story when it first broke in the Advertiser, and it was the Advertiser's former chief police reporter Nigel Hunt who did a lot of the early work on it. Craig, it must be heartening for you as Anthea's brother that finally this is getting some genuine national attention.
Oh, well, it can have as much attention as it likes, really. Ben's done an amazing job and has dug up quite a lot of new information that's on the podcast that police didn't have before, or Nigel didn't have before either. So we are hoping that this reflects well and that people interstate who can make decisions about this will make the right decision for us.
Set the scene for us, Ben, for our listeners that go, yeah, I name recollection here, and I remember it's become a bit of a political issue in the last decade, but take us back to the day this all started and set the scene.
So we've just marked the 30-year anniversary of this. It was on Sunday, so it was July 21, 1994. Craig's sister Anthea had only been married 3 months. She got married in April of that year, 1994, and her husband had gone over to Brunei and he was working at a medical centre there. He was a radiographer. Now, Anthea's plan was to go over as well, but she was a school teacher in Murray Bridge, so she was going to finish her contract first. And then live permanently with him. But in the meantime, she went over to visit. So she was going over for 10 days. She went over. She had been there 9 days when she was found dead in her apartment. That was Jeff's apartment, the 3rd floor apartment, which wasn't far from where he worked. Jeff says that he was at work when Anthea was killed and that he discovered her body when he got home from work, essentially, at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's where this mystery began. Interestingly, it's a very safe country, Brunei, because there's the death penalty. It's very strict. Not a lot of murders. Not a lot of robberies either. And a coroner found that there had been no robbery in that apartment. There had been no sexual assault in that apartment. And here we are 30 years later, though, and we still don't know who did it.
Is it fair to say that her husband remains the only suspect?
He's the only suspect that's ever been named. He was named as a suspect by the Brunei coroner back in 1998, 4 years after the murder. And he's also been named in a court here in a civil matter as a suspect. And South Australian police looked at him very closely as well when they conducted their own inquiries on behalf of the family here. And they certainly believe too that he has questions to answer. I need to point out while we're here, though, that on this topic, he says that obviously he wasn't responsible and he's never been charged.
So there was 2 investigations, as I understand it. There was the local Brunei investigation, then SAPOL conducted one of their own. Was there any discrepancy in any of the evidence that was brought up between the 2 investigations, or did they sort of establish the same timeline and story as one another?
Well, SA Police was relying on all of the original witness statements, and there were many of those from Brunei. They also, though, went over and Brunei actually allowed them to bring back a lot of exhibits, which included some of Jeff Hall's clothing. Interestingly, there were blood-like stains on Jeff's shirt. He did find Anthea's body, though, but that's something that's been examined to see how that blood got there. But certainly, I think the key difference between the 2 investigations is that South Australian police had experience with this. You know, they sadly here in South Australia investigate a lot of murders, and these were major crime detectives that specialised in homicides, and so I believe they took the investigation a lot further than Brunei did. The unfortunate thing, though, is that they didn't have jurisdiction over there. All they could do was pass on what they knew and what they found to Brunei, and Brunei made the decision that they didn't believe there was enough evidence and that they weren't going to investigate any further.
What are his whereabouts now?
He's, to the best of our knowledge, working in Tokyo, in Japan, and he has been there for many years now. As I say, he was a radiographer, but then worked his way up the ranks to become an executive at Toshiba at one stage. and I believe he's still an executive in Tokyo. We've made efforts to contact him, and at this stage we haven't been able to hear back.
Craig, amongst the mourning and all the awful emotional stuff in the immediate aftermath, it must have been incredibly frustrating over this period to know that even as investigations were going on, the law in South Australia prevented there being any actual prosecution for such a long period of time. It must have been hard to get any feeling of closure, knowing that all that was going on, even beyond the immediate aftermath of the tragedy.
Yes, there's no such thing as closure, Will. There's also we haven't really had a chance to grieve properly. And with everything that we've been told, it's obvious to us that something needs to be done or can be done. The jurisdiction problem, which was massive in the beginning, was solved with the help of Christopher Pyne and Nick Xenophon, and they changed the federal law to do this, which has never been done before really in this sort of type of thing, to allow federal police to go overseas and investigate an Australian murder of someone overseas. But the quality of their evaluation, I'll call it, was very poor. Very poor. And I have been told by other people that they're disgusted by the lack of effort put in the AFP. People at the AFP interviewed were told, we don't think he did it. Very flippantly. So, there wasn't a great deal of effort. And I've been told by other people who are even more qualified that the AFP aren't exactly highly respected as police. They're not as good as the Sapole Police or Queensland Major Crime or whoever.
Well, not for crimes like that.
Not for crimes like
it's
this,
different
no.
if it's a terror attack or something like that, or a drug dealing thing, but specific
fraud, whatever. But
is there any chance of getting Brunei to reinvestigate it?
No, they're not interested at all. Never were. Whereas overseas, person murdered. It wasn't one of their citizens. And as Ben said before, they didn't really have murders.
They might even find it embarrassing, and they just don't want to know about it.
Who knows? Yeah, who knows? They've been completely unreceptive to any communication or anything, really. It's just, no, we're not going to do it. Full stop.
That's extraordinary. Can I ask, was your sister, was she repatriated? Could you at least lay her to rest in Australia?
We got her body back after a few weeks, yes, that was another trauma.
And how long did Jeff stick around for after that?
He came back to Australia for the funeral and then went back to Brunei to, as part of the police conditions on his release, he had to go back. And he sort of stayed there for a while, then came back to Australia. Yeah.
And we're certainly not declaring him guilty. We're only saying that he was the only suspect and remained so. I mean, South Australia's former DPP, Stephen Polaris, believed that it should have. But did the family have any suspicions at the time? Like when he came back for the funeral, were you and other members of the family scratching your heads a bit as to his presence here?
No, we actually didn't think he did it. No, he's a family member. We'd known him for 10 years before the for the murder. Anthea was with him from year 10 at school. His boyfriend, girlfriend. So he was part of the family. So I would take offence at people who said, was it him sort of thing.
At the time, yeah.
Oh, totally at the time.
Sure.
Probably even post 1998 when the coroner's report came from Brunei and that named him as a suspect, I still didn't believe it because I thought, well, what else are they going to say? And then after that, he came out as gay, and which doesn't really mean much, but it certainly put a lot of doubt in our mind. But even then, I still didn't think he did it. It took a long while for me to accept this, what happened, rather than try and work out how it happened. I had
good point. Sure. Good way of putting it.
Yeah.
The first episode's dropped now, so people can go back and they can find it everywhere you get your podcasts from.
Just go and search "Just Married," the Anthea Bradshaw mystery, and they should find it.
Part of the 9 podcast crew, Just Married, the Anthea Bradshaw mystery. Ben, Craig, great to have you in, guys. Thank you
for having me.
Thanks, guys.
All right, it's time for Fuel Watch. Members save on RAA Solar, RAA Innovation Proprietary Limited, SA Building Licence number 319335. One cheap spot under $1.70, otherwise you're doing well to get it under $1.80 this morning. The Ampole North East Road, Holden Hill, is the one under $1.70. That's at $1.69.5. The OTR Port Road, West Croydon's at $1.79.9. Liberty Marion Road, Marion, $1.79.5. The cheapest diesel in the north is under $1.80. The United Main North Road, Paraka, at $1.79.5, whereas down south, the best we could see at the Liberty Marion Road Marion at $1.83.5.
Confession time. Andrew's texted in on the Duttons text line, further to my reminiscing about seeing the Hoodoo Gurus at the Findon in 1985. Andrew writes, so were you under 18 that night at the Findon, Dave?
Detective work.
As charged. Oh, for the glory days of the old STA bus card where you could get a pen and write your date of birth on it.
Yeah.
I was a 25-year-old from Hawaii called McLovin. Inside joke there for fans of the excellent movie Superbad.
Yeah, that's funny. We haven't done many Superbad references, and maybe we shouldn't. That's right. Stick around for Matt Pantelis. We're out of time. Tomorrow morning, great movie though. Police Commissioner Grant Stevens will join us, and we'll see you then.
Coming up on 5AA Mornings today, we'll look at the issue of cocaine